crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
So many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Yes, that is right. It is Dom time. Welcome in, everyone. So at 12:30, we're going to talk with Eric Trump about the president yesterday in Chicago with this twit from the Bloomberg News going back and forth over the economy. And at 2 o'clock, Henry's been able to secure one of the people that have been in the news. I believe her name is Cindy Romero, who had to move out of an apartment complex, in Aurora, Colorado, because of the Venezuelan drug gangs. We're going to bring you an eyewitness to this, and what the media, Martha Raddatz particularly, want to say is only a handful. When you hear her story, I wonder if she'll say, well, come on now, it's only a handful. Why don't you move in next door to Martha Raddatz? Come on. Stop complaining. Stop being a whiner. Stop saying America's so bad. But I want to lead with J.D. Vance again. This is perfect. I have two back-to-back cuts. I'll play you David Muir in a moment. I was in the spin room watching this. Muir and his female colleague just pouncing, not as journalists, but saying it like it was Moses with the 10 Commandments. That crime is down. As soon as Trump said it, crime is down. No fact-checking, no nothing, no, well, Mr. President, bang, crime is down. FBI just has re-edited their report. It's up 4.5%. This is 2022. I think it's a lot more than that. I think it is rampant. You do too, because we live it. All right. So Vance is asked by this guy from CBS 3. He was over here in Lafayette Hill last night about, will you this time around say you're certifying the vote? If you lose, you're going to be okay with it. You're going to say it was a legitimate vote. That's it. Always with this. And Vance says, yes, but I am concerned about people that can vote that are here illegally. Or even if they're here on a green card, whatever card, they still can't vote. Watch how the guy jumps into the ring. And he says the magic words. Well, it's not widespread. It's always with the not widespread. I wish Vance had said, whoa, wait a minute. I heard Dom Giordano. He could have said this, Henry. I heard Dom Giordano talking about this all the time. How widespread is it, as Dom would say? It's only a handful. How many handfuls? You know what the CBS 3 guy would say? I'm just a journalist. I can't answer that. But he can jump into the ring as like the 11th commandment and not say, well, some experts or some people, but just say there is no illegal voting or it's not widespread. The Martha Raddatz School of Journalism. All right, here's Vance out there in Lafayette Hill as this reporter from CBS 3 right here in Philadelphia asked him about certifying this election.
Pennsylvania, to me, represents the greatness of American manufacturing, of American energy.
With the final vote is declared in Pennsylvania, will you accept that result regardless of the outcome, yes or no?
Yeah, look, of course, we're going to accept the final result. We also want to make sure that every legal ballot is cast and counted. We want to make sure that illegal aliens don't vote in our elections. And there's, of course,
there's no evidence of illegal aliens voting in our elections. That's against the law. That's not happening.
Sure. But
whoa, back up. Stop it right there. He keeps on adding the provisos. Now, Vance, to his credit, I would have jumped in more. Let's back up the three things he says after that, Henry. There's no evidence. Then he said, that's not happening. It's illegal. How does he know it's not happening? Let's hear that.
Is cast and counted. We want to make sure that illegal aliens don't vote in our elections. And there's, of course,
there's no evidence of illegal aliens voting in our elections. That's against the law. That's not happening.
Sure.
That's not happening.
Can violate the law.
In a razor-thin election.
Yeah, they can violate the law.
It's illegal. I love that argument.
It's illegal. It's not happening.
It's also illegal to kill people.
Now,
guess what?
is the journalism part? He can say it's the law or it's illegal. That's factual. That's not happening. How can he say that? That's an opinion. That's what I would say. How's this guy, the journalist, telling him this? He keeps on going on. He's all worked up. That's where J.D. Vance could have used. Let's back up a little bit here, buddy. How do you know? I'm a journalist. I can't answer that. But you just told me all this stuff. Come on, J.D. You're brilliant, but you missed a little bit more there. Now, here's David Muir jumping into the ring with Trump in the same way. And I'm watching this in the spin room and going, oh, man, do I have to sit here? All these ABC people over in the spin room. Trump talks about how crime is out of control. Here's David Muir.
How would you deport 11 million undocumented immigrants? I know you believe that number is much higher. Take us through this. What does this look like? Will authorities be going door to door in this country?
Yeah, it is much higher because of them. They allowed criminals, many millions of criminals. They allowed terrorists. They allowed common street criminals. They allowed people to come in, drug dealers, to come into our country. And they're now in the United States and told by their countries like Venezuela, don't ever come back or we're going to kill you. Do you know that crime in Venezuela and crime in countries all over the world is way down? You know why? Because they've taken their criminals off the street and they've given them to her to put into our country. And this will be one of the greatest mistakes in history for them to allow. And I think they probably did it because they think they're going to get votes. But it's not worth it because they're destroying the fabric of our country by what they've done. There's never been anything done like this at all. They've destroyed the fabric of our country. Millions of people let in. And all over the world, crime is down all over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But
excuse me, the FBI they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst crime. It was a fraud, just like their number of 818,000 jobs that they said they created turned out to be a fraud.
President Trump, thank you. I'll let you respond.
Well, the FBI has just revisited that. So now it's up 4.5%. Maybe David Muir will address this tonight. Maybe he'll call the CBS 3 guy. The CBS 3 guy really got me, too, and I've seen him many times. He starts out by saying, that's illegal, as if it's, and then he goes, not happening. That's a pretty definitive statement. How does he know it's not happening? I mean, what do we have to lose here to try to reassure people? And they may be here legally, but they're not able to vote. You know, the whole thing with the PennDOT and new stuff that's been done, there's concern about that. Isn't that legitimate to say? Certainly, I'll agree with the result of the election, but I want to make sure that we're blocking this and we're doing it thoroughly. Not happening. This jumping in, and then if you go back at them and say, how do you know it's not happening? Now, David Muir also said something there, too, 11 million. That's who arrived at the figure of 11 million. Yeah, I don't think it's 25 million people here that Trump sometimes gets wound up and says illegally. But I think it's more than 11 million. I think it's been 11 million for quite a while, even before the Biden administration. And it's an unknowable. I'd have to see the projections, the metrics, et cetera. But the ballpark consensus is over 11 million. They set it at 11 million. You're not able to say anything else. How do they arrive at 11 million? It's these fact-checking articles of faith that go on here. So we know that no one that's here illegally or can't vote because they're here maybe legally, but they're not a citizen, didn't vote in 2022 or in 2020. I would challenge that. I think we do know. And the argument is, well, it's not widespread. It's only a handful. This is the constant thing that goes on here. That's what Martha Raddatz did. So at 2 o'clock, you're going to hear someone from Aurora, Colorado. Took a lot to get her, who suffered from being in one of those housing complexes where drug gangs took over. And if you want to dismiss it, now look, I'm not in the camp saying that Trump should go wild on that and should not be more buttoned up. Of course he should on this. But the bottom line is that this is happening in Aurora, Colorado, and other places. And that's the problem. That's the problem for middle America. All right, Bret Baier tonight. I think he's taping, I guess, over at 4th and Market. I'm not sure. I know it's in Philadelphia. Vice President Harris is going to be in Bucks County. Then I think she's going over to talk with Bret Baier for about 20, 25 minutes. Bill O'Reilly last night on TV, we're trying to get him on tomorrow, said that Bret Baier has a lot more on the line than does Kamala Harris, meaning he said this could be a real bump in his career. And I think he means if he's perceived as not being tough enough in his questioning. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I know there's a lot of, I've had, 12:15 tomorrow, Bill O'Reilly. Thank you, Henry. We'll be here. We'll ask him about how he thinks the interview goes. I've had Bret Baier on a few times over the years. I've never met him personally. I know there's antagonism. The calling of the election, he was involved in that, if you remember, in 2020. I think that's where it started with people. On a scale of 1 to 10, I think he's fine. He's the journalistic end of Fox, though, so he's going to toe that line, which they do in their news by and large. Then you have the opinion side. But O'Reilly's saying that Bret Baier has a lot more on the line here, that if he cannot ferret out what Harris is really about here, then that's not going to be good for him and Fox viewers. Now, why is she doing it? Well, she's doing it because they're desperate. I have here this service that Dan and I use, a guy named Josh Barton. This is, he cites today Bet Online. Now, Bet Online is where you can bet on political things. And he says the betting here on this presidential race might supersede Super Bowl betting. Monday morning, Donald Trump was the favorite to take the election, according to this bet service. Fast forward 48 hours, and Trump has vaulted to his lowest odds since Harris entered the race. Trump is now a minus 160 favorite, meaning you got to bet 160 to win 100. Harris is a plus 140. That's a pretty widespread underdog here. They've gotten a slew of $50,000 Trump bets during the past 2 days. Man,
wow.
Betting $50K on the election.
That's crazy.
Yeah, particularly given we're not going to know for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
You're sweating it out here. Yes, that's a big bet. I'm sure there's somebody that bets 100,000 or maybe even $1 million. That mattress guy, I know.
Mattress
bets.
Mac, yeah.
Yeah, he bets on it, but they said they got a lot of 50,000 bets on Trump during the past 2 days. So what are these people looking at? Well, I don't know that there's anything different about Trump here. What they're looking at is what always happens, apparently, with Harris. She's not authentic. The more that you see her, it's not in one fell swoop. It's inch by inch by inch that she goes down. This is what happened. She was one of the favorites in the 2020 Democratic presidential side, and she dropped out before the first vote was cast in any primary. Inch by inch by inch, she doesn't resonate with people. So now, all of a sudden, she's doing interviews. I think she's going to do Joe Rogan now. I think that's where the odds are at this point, and that's going to be fascinating. The thing that I hope Bret Baier asked about today, I told you the strategy that I think you could be using. Ask her right out of the box, how is it different with Biden? Now, she's going to have a better answer at this point. Go on to something else, and then let a few minutes go where her talking points are not arranged again, and go back to her with the same thing in a little bit of a different way. And I think it might be pretty revealing. I hope he asked about the plagiarism. That's still out there today. I hope we don't get bogged down. Well, I hope he asked her point blank, you have changed on these huge issues, fracking, the border. Why are you still on record saying that even illegal immigrants should have taxpayers pay for gender-affirming care and or surgeries? Why? Don't ask, do you? Just say why, and then go from there. So if you have a suggestion, and where are we on Brett Baer in your mind? Remember, he's the news side of Fox. Some people believe there's antagonism with President Trump. That's part of it. Coming up, my experience with mail-in balloting. All right, it has been bittersweet. I would rather just show up on Election Day, which I know I'm going to do if I'm alive. But I've done it. I've taken the plunge, and I'll tell you about that. And it doesn't feel that, uncomfortable. It doesn't feel great to be voting by mail-in ballot this time. We have numbers out, 1.75 million casts. Republicans have moved up now a few percentage points, so not a home run, but enough to matter in a close election. Side question, vis-a-vis Henry, we're talking after the show yesterday. The Conchi Bakery closed, a landmark. So what we're looking for is some area, landmark, place, thing that's associated with the Philadelphia area that after a long run closed. And if all goes according to plan, our buddy Dave Scalish, master engineer, will be in Dan time. We're booking people in Dan time now to talk about the Bazaar of All Nations, which was out in Clifton Heights. And it was, I don't know why it went away. It's almost hard to describe what this place was like. If you like kitsch and all that stuff, it was incredible. I'm going to take Horn and Hardats.
Oh, get it out.
There we go.
Come on.
The automat. We were saying
right
automat
away.
guy.
Into it.
I was looking at his number last night. The automat guy who's bringing it back. When's that coming? I want to broadcast out of there the first day. There's going to be a line 3 or 4
Henry,
blocks
do you know what
long.
Horn and Hardats is?
I have never heard of it.
It's an automat.
Do you know what an automat is?
No.
All right, there's a good reason you don't know. So there used to be a way of serving food where you'd walk in and inside cabinets that were essentially heating microwaves that just kept food heated. You'd open it up and pay for a product that's been sitting there for like hours, a meatloaf that's been sitting there for maybe 5-6 hours.
They change it every 2 or 3 hours. Come on now, let's not get
Does
crazy.
that sound at all appealing to you?
Well, then there's the rice pudding.
I mean, it sounds like a dining hall.
So essentially, it's all pre-made food that you're going to walk up and pay for.
It's the fun of the automat. It's
not the worst thing I've ever heard.
Well, thank you, Henry.
Yeah.
Nice defense on your part.
Yeah,
It's like Martha Raddatz in there.
Is it the worst thing when you walk into a Wawa and walk away with a sizzly that breaks your teeth when you break into it?
Yeah, those are tough. Yeah.
That's not Horn and Harnets. This guy's slurring an American institution. Henry, since you brought it up, what's yours?
Yeah, so in addition to the Conshohocken Italian Bakery, which please give them
How many years?
51.
And when are they closing?
At the end of the month. So, yeah,
Okay.
please give them your business. Fantastic tomato pie. Might be the superior pie. Definitely better than cherry. Anyway, I think the Spectrum is something that, I think a lot of Philadelphia people have fond memories of. I mean, that was the last time the Flyers or the Sixers won championships. So, yeah.
I never liked the Spectrum, though. I got to say, it was awful.
I was young being there. You can't say I was there too many times, but yeah.
I'm going to one-up your answer because I have a stadium answer as well, Dom.
Yes.
Related to what's happening now, because when we get callers on situations like this and they talk about the greatest memories in Philadelphia sports, they often bring us back to Connie Mack Stadium, Dom.
Oh,
that was sitting there right in the middle of the city. And imagine just being able to walk to a game, and a Philadelphia 76ers game just east on Market there. We can bring back that feeling of having games in the city. Well, obviously it's
Connie
not Center
Mack,
City.
you mean, we're going to have kids
but
say...
the similar feeling of kids walking down the block and being able to go to a game,
Right.
How about we don't have that anymore.
Kids at Connie Mack, and I saw this myself, saying, I'll watch your car for $1. Meaning, if you give me $1, I may not vandalize it while you're there at the ballpark. Connie Mack Stadium.
And one more?
Yes.
Let's go to Spring Garden Street. I don't know if you've ever been there. Remember the Spaghetti Warehouse?
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Oh, I miss the spaghetti. I have so many nostalgic memories of that place.
Yeah, Spaghetti Warehouse was very good. All right, so Melrose. Let's take that off the board. That's an all-timer. I got to go behind the scenes in the Melrose, actually, how they coach people to cook their food. And I know it's coming back a little. It won't be the same. There's a booth, Henry, at the Melrose in which they force you, it's one communal booth, to sit with other people that you don't know.
I don't like that.
I didn't like that either. But I mean,
what are you talking about?
Make a new friend.
Yeah.
Talk politics? Yeah. Who are you voting for?
Trump. That's it. They stab you. Yeah. 855-839-1210. That's the side question today. And Brett Baer have a lot riding on this. That's what O'Reilly says. He'll be here at 12:15 tomorrow. I gave you the game plan. I would go right out of the box. You could say, well, Harris is expecting that. Yeah. The first time around, her talking point will be there. Then he's got to marry that 2 or 3 questions in. Back to this again, the differences. Boy, and Trump says nothing else but other than you don't have any of their ads out there now. Let's see what she would say second time around on this. She's got nothing on it. She can't go either way. But 855, and I'd ask the transgender thing, 855-839-1210. You jump in now, and if you are a defender of the Horn and Hardts, just send all those thoughts to Dan. He's just not understanding Philadelphia. I mean, what are you going to do? It was greatness.
There's a reason it's not around anymore.
Need a hot meal and a pinch.
It's coming back.
No, it's not.
We had the guy on.
It's going to come back and fall on its face.
It's going to be on Walnuts. I'm going to be over there the first day. I'm putting a beach chair out there. Serve me that. Meatloaf, it's been there a day. 855-839-1210.
Have a puck of meatloaf, please.
That's how you get on board.
You have key decisions to make about your money. Most investors don't beat the market, and neither do the hedge funds, who take a share of your profits. What if there was another way? A way for you to keep total control over your money where the interests were aligned. That's what the exclusive crash-proof retirement system is all about.
Mike Bisaccia from Logan Township, New Jersey. You can't follow the market because nobody can predict it. What you have today could be gone tomorrow. That's the way it works, up and down, and your money goes up and down. That's what led me to see if there was another alternative. Crash-proof retirement gave me that alternative. With crash-proof retirement, the money you make is credited to your account, and that money's yours. No ifs, ands, or buts, no worries. No fees. We had a high point of 13.5%. Once it's credited, it's your money to keep. That's a big deal.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Springfield Country Club, November 20th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Are you worried about your roof handling the next storm?
At Emmons Roofing and Siding, we provide top-quality roofing services that fit your budget and stand the test of time.
And our team of roofing experts ensures your home stays safe and dry with durable, reliable roofing solutions to any problems you may have. Plus, at Emmons, we offer free inspections and free estimates.
So call us today at 856-885-6677 or visit callemmons.com.
From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
Vice President Kamala Harris is campaigning in Washington Crossing Bucks County today. SEPTA is holding public hearings to talk more about the upcoming fare increases. And Governor Phil Murphy has announced a new round of medical debt relief for tens of thousands of families in New Jersey.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
So late.
All right, time to Giordano show. Welcome in. Eric Trump coming up. And then at 2 o'clock, a woman who had to move out of an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado, because of Venezuelan drug gangs. So when they can't deny it, what they do is they just, like the guy from CBS 3, they go with a handful. That's not happening. How do you say that's not happening to J.D. Vance and then say you're a journalist, though? You know, I wish in the moment, maybe he thought it wasn't worth it. He would have said, whoa. I want to use this as an example. You guys go around saying you're journalists. What do you mean it's not happening? How do you know that's not happening? Well, it's illegal. Yes, it doesn't matter. We know it's illegal. All right, so 855-839-1210. These are just articles of faith, though. They are determined. The fact-checking, it doesn't go this way when it's Kamala Harris or anybody, Walls particularly, on the other side. You just don't see it. Here's Jesse Waters making what's raging today is back and forth with Harris and Obama and African-American men. Here's Waters talking about that last night and saying that people are sniffing out she's more like Hillary than she is Obama. This is cut, boy, print here. It's cut 10.
As Barack Obama said, Kamala Harris has an issue with the brothers.
You texted me right around the Democratic convention and you said, I am talking to people and Kamala Harris has a problem with black men.
Yeah, and I told the campaign I did not hear from them. I mean, who am I for them to get back to me? But there's a problem. I went up to people just doing man on the street. And said, who are you going to vote for? Black men. And time after time after time, they said, I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Kamala was supposed to be the pantsuit messiah, but she's really more of an actress.
When he was asked about what he was going to do, he says he's got concepts of a plan for how he'd replace it.
He has no plan to replace it. You guys watched the debate. Right. He has, quote, concepts of a plan. Concepts.
Kamala's imitating Barack, but there's one problem. She's more like Hillary, and the streets know it.
There's nothing about the poll numbers that we're seeing right now that should make anybody feel like she got this in there. Remember those poll numbers with Hillary? Remember those poll numbers with Hillary? And I keep telling people this campaign feels more Hillary-ish than it does Obama-ish, Obama 08-ish.
I think that's true. And again, it's not in one fell swoop with Harris. All right? It's not. It's a steady drip, drip, drip. And that's why she's suddenly, now would be the time to run out the clock and not do these interviews. When she wasn't doing them in the beginning, she would have time to recover. Now, though, jumping into the ring with Joe Rogan, who's a wild card here, with Brett Baer today, I think around 6:15 tonight, people are going to, I know a lot of people are going to say Baer's too easy on her and all that. I don't know about that. I think it's all in the follow-up. And if he asked in these areas about difference with Biden, will we get into the cover-up with Joe Biden? Yeah, that's an area you ought to talk about. How is it Biden's okay now? You've been saying that. And he's out there doing stuff. And yet he wasn't okay to run. Why did he give it up? Well, you have to ask him. This will be a lot. Just watch the tape of Lester Holt. He said very little there. It just took her apart in the fewest words imaginable. All right, let's go to Chris in Malvern. And Chris, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Chris, welcome in. Yo, Chris.
I had no problem voting by mail myself, but I did drive up to the Westchester Government Service Center to drop it off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, look, that's what I was going to advocate with people. If you don't trust it for one reason or another, that's the way to do it. The key thing is to get it on the board. You know it's banked, and the people chasing voters, they know it's banked, and they go after somebody else.
Yeah, and I did it 2 weeks ago, too.
Okay. Yeah.
My side question.
You didn't feel anything.
My side question is, I used to go down to Philadelphia all the time. I loved going to the Ritz at the Bourse and Ritz East.
The Ritz at the Bourse. Well, that's not there. Wait a minute. The movie
theater there.
Yeah, there's still a movie theater there. It's not at the Bourse. It's right next to the Bourse. So I think that's the Bourse
Yeah, it's
one.
still there. Yeah.
I think it's still there. I was by there the other day, Chris. I hear you. Go, yeah, check it out. It's
I think
still
it's like
there.
a very like bougie kind of place now, though, that shows a lot of like niche films.
Yeah. Niche films. Yeah, it's a niche.
Yeah,
well, that's right. It does show niche films.
Niche
films.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's why there's no crowd.
Right now, showing there's The Apprentice, Dom.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, it does show some arty independent films. I would agree.
Niche.
Let's go to Paula in Belmar. What's missing here? Kind of like the Conchi Bakery will be. Paula, what's yours?
What do I have? I have Jerry's Corner at 61st and Pashock Avenue.
Yeah, how would you describe Jerry's Corner?
Oh, my gosh. It's similar to the Bazaar that was in Clifton Heights.
Exactly. It's maybe a little bit more raucous, it seemed to me. Stuff happened at Jerry's Corner. Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, it's kind of like a more outdoorsy or more raucous version of the Bazaar of All Nations. Dan Time, booking guests now. What a show this has become. Everybody has their own guest list. Is there a booker for Dan Time? Hey,
I mean, Stalish was a regular over at the Bazaar.
Yeah,
you know?
I
was there the last Christmas Eve, had a video.
Yeah, I could see these people on the Trump team. I can get you a slot, Eric, on Dan Time with Dom. Oh, that's okay. I've arrived. Get me that slot. All right, 855-839-1210. You get on board. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, just push pound 1210. Eric Trump is next here. Let's talk Captain Chucky's first, though. Halloween's coming up. Don't let mealtime planning frighten you. Call or just step into your nearest Captain Chucky's. Pick up the fan favorite Smith Island Crab Cake Jumbo Lump. Don't forget the mega colossal crab cakes. Delicious. Time to stock those up. Check out the variety of homemade soups. We're getting into soup country time. And it's perfect to remind you that Captain Chucky's has sides, desserts. Get a tray or two for your football viewing party or tailgate. Delicious stuffed mushrooms. Several choices of breaded, non-breaded crab cakes. Literally, crab cake for everybody. Then there's that Gulf shrimp. That is a star, too. Always wild caught, never farm raised. My favorite, every table should have the Dom roll. So visit Captain Chucky's today. There's a location near you. One website to find all this great stuff. WeLoveCrabCakes.com. WeLoveCrabCakes.com. And also, if you're headed to the shore, well, there's CaptainChucky'sAtTheShore.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, Go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Business owners can count on McCausland Lock and Alarm to secure and control access to their facilities. Enjoy peace of mind while their access control and CCTV systems provide top-of-the-line protection for your assets. Tom McCausland's wealth of experience allows McCausland to effectively protect all types of facilities in any environment, and their customer service is unmatched. Call today, 610-430-1500. 610-430-1500. McCausland Lock and Alarm, securing your business, securing your future.
This school year, get your child or grandchild the help they need to succeed. Special tutoring and custom instruction is available from METC, the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. Now's the time to call Kathy Ganna and help your child have an outstanding year. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Visit online at metc.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@metc.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200. That's 215-493-4200.
Looking for the confidence to walk away from the 9-to-5? Find out how with Joe Yakovich on The Heart of Your Money, Sundays at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Tom Giordano's show. Eric Trump has really hit it off with the show. We love having him on, particularly. Got a lot to ask him about yesterday. President Trump with the Chicago, this guy from Bloomberg was nuts. But also, Trump is coming to Philadelphia, we're told on Sunday, to work the fryer at a McDonald's in Philadelphia. Now, my guess is, I have no inside knowledge, it'll probably be in like northeast Philadelphia. You see people up at McDonald's testing out the fryers up there. Are you going to go if we find out where that is, that Trump is cooking those French fries? And what could they sell them for? Cooked by Trump.
What are they? There's one on Girard. I know my McDonald's way too well down. There's one on Girard. There's one down there in South. I think it's probably the one in South Philly that's right off of 95 there now.
I could do South Philly. I think Northeast, though, is just as good. Yeah,
the one over in Grays Ferry.
Yeah, there's got to be, 30 McDonald's inside Philadelphia? Something like that, probably?
A lot.
Now, if he goes to one,
hit two-thirds of them myself.
He's really trolling. If Trump goes to a McDonald's, say, in the middle of North Philly, oh, my God. This is going to be protesters, thousands of them. I bet they'll like the French fries, though. All right, so
whatever. There's one at 17th and Walnut right here in Center City.
I'm not doing that.
You don't think so?
No. He's hitting an area to make a statement that she really didn't work at McDonald's. So it's either going to be a black neighborhood, a Latino neighborhood, or in the Northeast where they have pretty good chance of turnout. So.
I just don't know if the one on Girard's going to photograph well. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
You know what? They just renovated it, actually, so maybe. Yeah.
I think they'll do a typical one. They're not going to do a chic McDonald's if there is such a thing. I wonder how many people we have listening that
also
work
on Air Mingo down all the way in Portland.
Oh, yeah. That work fast food. I never did that, but Trump working the fryer. Let's see what Eric Trump has to say about that. Let's welcome back to the Dom Giordano Show, Eric Trump. Hey, Eric, welcome back to Philadelphia. Thank you for
Dom,
joining
it's great to be on, my friend.
Definitely. I feel like we got to get you here in studio one of these times.
I can't wait. I'm going to be in Pennsylvania all day. I'll be in Pennsylvania all day tomorrow. So.
Oh, anytime in Philadelphia, you pop in, anytime noon to 3, and we'll do an hour with you, whatever you want.
I can't wait, my friend. I can't wait.
Well,
let's do it.
Eric, so much stuff to talk about. You are the business guy every time we talk with you in the Trump organization now. And seeing Bloomberg yesterday, this guy was kind of, shall we say, a twit with your father in front of all these CEOs, et cetera. I had a lot of takeaways, but you actually deal with this stuff every day on a big level. What did you see yesterday in that duel?
Well, I saw a mainstream media that everybody that's listening to us right now has seen for years, which is just a mainstream media that wants to do anything they can to undermine somebody. And by the way, the crowd wasn't having it. It was so amazing to see at the Chicago Economic Club. I mean, everybody was cheering, Donald Trump, and this is a room that might not, traditionally, cheer. And it's funny. You could just tell that the reporter had his marching orders. But I found it kind of funny. I'm not sure why no one mentioned this. I mean, you have a reporter up there on stage that has called everything wrong, and my father was so good at calling him out. He literally said that at one point. He goes, "You guys have gotten every economic policy wrong. All of your predictions have been wrong." But it's kind of funny. I mean, listen, my father has become one of the great success stories, meaning from a business standpoint, a company standpoint. I mean, look at the company he built, look at the company he grew, and it's so funny to watch this reporter up there who's never had a job other than writing economic articles. Talk about, well, an expert from X, Y, and Z might say it's. I don't know. I think everybody could probably acknowledge that Donald Trump is probably more of an expert than any of the unnamed experts that they're somehow quoting based on the company he's built, the business he's built, the economic success that he's had. It's very funny to see reporters, who have literally been journalists their entire lives, and no disrespect to that at all, but questioning Donald Trump on economic philosophies. A guy
and
who's
Eric, isn't it the art of the deal too? As I understand the tariffs with your dad, what he did before, they're targeted toward China to stop them a little bit, and they're also targeted toward companies. Mercedes-Benz was mentioned yesterday, that play as if they're actually here in America. I think your father said they make the cars there and they take them out of a box and assembly them here. So I'm not sure
Totally.
of that. But he's trying to use leverage here to goad these companies into not taking advantage of Americans.
Well, Dom, I'm so glad you said that because you're like one of the few that seem to get it in the media. But yeah, I mean, a part of that's very real, and also part of it is a shot across the bow, which is you're not going to use us, you're not going to abuse us. If you think you're going to get away with this on my watch, you simply will not. And that is a strong message that gets delivered with that. But I mean, let me give you an example. John Deere, great American company, right? They're closing down 2 of their plants. They're moving to Mexico. Why are they moving to Mexico? Because they have effectively free labor. They have no regulation. Their plants are incredibly cheap to build. And congratulations, we're going to lose tens of thousands of jobs, not to mention all the ancillary jobs that surround those plants but we're going to lose tens of thousands of jobs in the United States. And my father's sitting there saying, no, this isn't fair. So you mean to tell me you can just get rid of tens of thousands of jobs, move 1 foot south of the southern border, use effectively slave labor in order to build your products, and then throw those beautiful tractors, those beautiful green, used to be made in America tractors on a train, import it 2 feet above the southern border and go sell it, and I mean, no way. We're not going to allow that to happen. Congratulations. If you want to do that, you're going to be paying a 20% tariff, or you're going to be paying a 50% tariff to bring that product. Do not leave the United States. Now the flip side to that, he's also telling those companies, I'm going to make America the greatest place in the world to manufacture products. I'm going to bring your taxes down so that you can be competitive with the rest of the world, because I fully understand these CEOs every single day, people are saying, you got to get out of here. It's too expensive. It's too hard to do business. There's too much regulation. Go somewhere else. And so, he's going to remove that pull on those CEOs to do that. If you make a product here, you're going to not be paying, we're going to reduce your taxes to 15%. We're going to have the most competitive tax rate in the world. You're going to be able to build a new plant. You're going to be able to modernize. We're going to cut every regulation that's nonsensical, that puts financial burden on your. And by the way, when that happens, wages in this country will skyrocket. We're no longer going to be used. We're no longer going to lose our industry. Industry is going to come flowing back into America. He wants to allow all the money to repatriate back in America that's being held overseas, and the reason it's being held overseas is the tax rates are so punitive that all the money disappears if you try and bring it back to the United States. Let money get repatriated back to the United States. Get it out of Ireland. Get it out of all these countries which are holding hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars of U.S. money, and it's just sitting overseas because you can't bring it home. let that money come home, reduce taxes, reduce regulation. We'll have the greatest economy ever. And one more thing. Bring down the cost of oil and gas and utilities, which are absolutely crippling people in this country, right? And bring down the cost of interest rates. I mean, good luck trying to refinance a company. Good luck trying to refinance your home right now when you have 8% interest rates, whereas under my father you had 2.5% interest rates. I mean, look at inflation. That's also crippled companies and people in this country. I mean, the price of everything, whether it's your cable bill, whether it's gasoline, whether it's food, auto insurance, the cost of an iPhone, everything in this country is unaffordable. All the while, Dom, no one in this country has gotten a raise. I mean, people haven't gotten a raise in a 4-year period of time. More people are working part-time jobs than ever before. Credit card debt is at an all-time high. 25% of the people in this country are behind on their utility bills.
Yeah, it is. It's shocking. Eric, I wanted to turn. We're talking with Eric Trump here, of course, on the Dom Giordano Show. I wanted to turn, though, to another big industry, and this is the all-time troll, and it happens to be here in Philadelphia. We're going to be there covering it. Is your dad really going to work the fryer at McDonald's here in Philadelphia on Sunday? That's what we're being told.
Yes, and I can't wait for it. I mean, you have Kamala coming out and making up stories about she worked at McDonald's, and then everybody realized that she didn't ever work at McDonald's, and she's sitting there talking about these stories about sweating over a fryer and all this nonsense, and it was all lies. It was all lies, right? I mean, it was no different than Wall saying that he was over in China, over blah blah blah, and I mean, it's all lies. No different than Wall saying that he served over in Afghanistan. It was a lie. He was never in Afghanistan. He never served in Afghanistan. He never went to war, right? It was all lies. These people think that we're stupid. These people think that they can say anything and get away with it. And so I hope my father does go there, and I hope he sits there and works a full shift and just absolutely trolls her, because I mean, what's worse than that? Going, yes, I'm from a middle class family. I was slaving over a fryer at McDonald's. The sweat was running down my arms because it was so hot. It was a made-up lie, and honestly, everybody deserves so much better than that. Everybody deserves so much better than that.
Hey, Eric, one of the things, I follow you, of course, on Twitter, but I follow what you're saying in other interviews. You made the point that's finally come out. The ladies on The View actually are the ones, they didn't mean to, that got Harris to say, how can she be the change agent? You talked about Democrats want to turn the page. They've held the White House 12 of the last 16 years.
That's right. And she says, yes, we're going to turn the page. We'd like to turn the page. You're in office. Yeah. Dom, it's almost personally offensive to me, and let me just kind of describe it to everybody listening to us right now. The vice president's office is about 3 feet away from the Oval Office, right? In the White House. They're practically joined. There's a small little hallway that goes in between them, and it's right there. Yes, the first day I take, I go into office, I'm going to fix the pricing problem. Where the hell have you been, Kamala? Where have you been? Everything's unaffordable in life. Everything. We've lost so much ground as a nation. And yes, day one, I'm going to take on the border. My wife was just down. Laura Trump was just down at the border, and she was telling me that all the border patrol is coming up to her, and she goes, "Ma'am, everybody sees these pictures of the wall. Look about 100 yards behind the wall. You see those big towers there? They have the most advanced security cameras. They refuse to allow us to turn on the security cameras." And Laura goes, "Why don't they let you turn on the security cameras?" Well, they don't want the American public to see the problem, to see the caravans of people, see the people coming across. So my father built, right, obviously 600 miles of wall. They literally sold all the panels, the wall panels, the ones that hadn't been just all they need to do is just put them vertical. They sold them for scrap metal, right? They won't turn on the security cameras that are in place that have been paid for. All they need to do is flick a switch and they get turned on. Yet she's talking about, yes, on day one, I'm going to be very serious about the southern border. If you're not going to be serious about the southern border, it's the same group of people that flew 320,000 illegal immigrants into airports in the middle of the night all across the country. Our country has lost 320,000 children in the last fiscal year to fentanyl poisoning. And they're not doing a damn thing about it. And yes, on day one, I'm going to be very serious. All these people do is lie. All they do is lie to the Americans, and Americans are really smart, and they see it, and they understand that they're being lied to every single day, and it's really rather remarkable. But the answer to your question is, where have you been? I mean, where have you been? How can you be the agent of change?
Exactly. Well, Eric, enjoy Pennsylvania. You're coming tomorrow, right?
I'm going to be in Pennsylvania all day tomorrow, and we're working incredibly hard. Just Pennsylvania, get out and vote. Early vote. Please get out and vote. And I promise you, my father will make you incredibly proud. We're going to save this country. We're going to save our republic, and we're going to keep America great, and we're going to make America great again.
We're going to make French fries great again this Sunday, too, here in Philadelphia. So there's that. Hey, Eric, thank you very much. We'll come back, please, as soon as you can.
I will, Dom.
Thank you.
Take care.
Eric Trump here on Talk Radio 1210. So coming up, town hall with President Trump. A couple things with Harris Faulkner happened today. One, IVF. He was asked a lot about that. And the other, what would he do about men in women's sports? And I'll give you Trump's answer, and I think Bret Baier ought to ask the question that way with Kamala Harris today. Not what do you think of it? No, what will you do about men in women's sports? It's wildly unpopular. Phrase it that way. Let's see where she goes with it. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers can bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Build that same game parlay for Thursday Night Football. This week, it's Broncos at Saints. Alvin Kamara over rushing yards. Bo Nix, I think under 1.5 passing touchdowns. Rashid Shaheed over receiving yards. You got a scale that's unbelievable. Same game parlays, big ones, small ones. You have freedom, choice with this. So just visit FanDuel.com/Dom, D-O-M, to make every moment more. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus. Present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Between email addresses, social media, apps, this, that, and the other thing, I can't keep track of all my passwords anymore. I've had to write them down on a notepad and store them in a safe place. I'm tired of having to reset my password and then get the verification email and then go in and change it. And then they tell me that it's not strong enough. Can you throw a few characters on the end? How about a money sign? Oh, don't forget the capital letters. It's got to be between 8 and 12s. There's too many consonants.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
Vice President Kamala Harris is campaigning in Washington Crossing, Bucks County today. SEPTA is holding public hearings to talk more about the upcoming fare increases. And Governor Phil Murphy has announced a new round of medical debt relief for tens of thousands of families in New Jersey.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
If you're looking to furnish your home or replace your old furniture, your journey begins and ends at Bucks County Estate Traders. One piece of advice, make sure you have time when you come here. The 58,000 square foot showroom is a furniture wonderland. Quality high-end pieces with inventory changing daily. It's all here. Mid-century modern, traditional, vintage, antique, and name brands. They'll ship anywhere, or you can pick up in-store. Bucks County Estate Traders in Hatfield, or at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins? They won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-511-3535. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-511-3535. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-511-3535. 800-511-3535 or biglou.com.
Have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet?
Not yet.
Do it today.
Okay.
At 1210 WPHT.
All right, Dom Giordano show. So President Trump asked today at this town hall with Harris Faulkner in Georgia, a lot of concern about men and women's sports, boys and girls sports, etc. Said I would just ban it. Now, by executive order, there's a lot that he can do, and he could SIG the Justice Department, the Department of Education, take away federal funding. You're not going to do it. Now, I think Trump has to say that more and develop that more. It's not a thing, this transgender stuff, like the economy, like the border. I'll play in a second. Dan just told me he has it, what he said. But it's the thing that pops and moves some voters here around the margins big time. I think African-American men. I think people just say, you got to be kidding me. We shouldn't be doing this. I'm tired of hearing this nonsense. Well, what is this person who has an agenda with this and identifies? I don't care what they do. They're not going to play women's sports. Sometimes there's a conflict with two things. We get it. They want to identify with this. They want to play women's sports. No. The bigger winner of this conflict is you're not going to compete against girls. And you see it at the college level. Here's what Trump said when asked at the Faulkner event.
Originally Brooklyn, New York.
Oh,
I'd get that
good.
in there. My question is, how do you plan on addressing the transgender issue in women's sports? I have 9 grandchildren, 6 of them female, all playing sports, and we are very concerned for their safety, not just on the field and the courts, but in their locker rooms as well.
Right. It's such an easy question, and everybody in the room, and you know that answer, we're not going to let it happen. You look, just yesterday, they had a volleyball match. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Where a person that transitioned, okay? We have to be very careful because this can terminate your political career if you say it's slightly off, all right? But transitioned from man to female and was on a volleyball. And I saw the slam. It was a slam. I never saw a ball hit so hard, hit the girl on the head. But other people, even in volleyball, they've been permanently, they've been really hurt badly, women playing men. But you don't have to do the volleyball. We stop it. We stop it. We absolutely stop it. You can't have it. It's a man playing in the game. Physically, from a muscular standpoint, even if it was a little bit less, maybe they do all sorts of tests and drugs and everything else. Look at what's happened in swimming. Look at the records that are being broken.
So how do you stop it? Do you go to the
All right,
sports
so
leagues?
we got the point from Trump, Dan. He was on with 2 NFL players. I forget their name. And they were talking about the Olympics. And these 2 goofs from the NFL were attacking the females who quit fighting the males there. And Trump went after them on that. All right? Now, usually I would be, look, you trained all your life. You're in the Olympics. But something like that, it was obvious to me they were going to get hurt. It wasn't even close. Even I can't say, get out there. Here's what I want you to do. It's illegal what they're doing. We'll go after them in an area. Well, can't do that. God only knows. And Trump was saying, are you kidding me? Why are we even debating this? There is no debate. There are no fine points around this. I think he's got to talk about it more. You can say, look, they don't want me talking about this. They're saying, why are you not talking about groceries? I'm talking about groceries around the clock. It's ridiculous what's happened here. But I'm not going to allow this. All right, coming up, we have him on abortion and IVF with an all audience of women. But can't get this person on the show. It's impossible. But I love her reporting, Dan. We've talked about her before this. Francesca Block, who writes at Substack and Free Press, which is nonpartisan, bipartisan. They lead a little bit right. She's got a huge piece out there about this black nationalist who's an advisor to Josh Shapiro. This clown says for black kids to learn, all black students are to be taught by same-race teachers. He's getting millions of dollars, including our taxpayer dollars. I'll give you the details on him. And he's advising Josh Shapiro and the education department. Is somebody in the media going to take the time and ask Josh Shapiro fully about this? He refuses to answer at this point. I'll give you the details on that and a little bit more of this Trump with Harris Faulkner. Who in the world is objecting that is a conservative or pro-life about what Trump's saying about IVF or even abortion? But we'll play them. Is he really going to lose votes on that? You got to be crazy. 855-839-1210.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust. Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-296-7260. That's 800-296-7260. 800-296-7260.
Are you worried about the state of the economy? Concerned about market crashes and rising inflation wiping out your savings? At Noble Gold Investments, we understand your fears and have a solution. Call us today at 1-888-403-1050. Imagine safeguarding you and your family with a tangible asset that has stood the test of time. Gold. With Noble Gold Investments, you can diversify your portfolio and protect your wealth from economic turmoil. Our team will guide you through the process, ensuring you make informed decisions that best suit your needs. Call Noble Gold Investments today at 1-888-403-1050. That's 1-888-403-1050. The future is uncertain. Take control now. Call 1-888-403-1050.
Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Do you know when the best time to buy investment properties is? It's now. It's always now. You just need to learn how to buy them correctly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night and learn how to buy investment properties and make money every time. That's right. That's what we teach. We teach how to buy investment properties and make money every time. Go to investorschooling.com and RSVP right now. Take a class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. Don't go through life ignorant about how to become a millionaire. Learn how to invest in real estate, the stock market, precious metals, and learn from an expert. At Investor Schooling, we teach these things and more. We only provide education, and we will teach you how to leverage real estate, how to leverage the stock market, and how to leverage precious metals to make more money than you've ever made before. Go to investorschooling.com and take a complimentary class this Thursday. We will see you there. investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare more and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448. 800-525-8448.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, today's side question brought to you by Henry. Thanks to him. Conchi Bakery closing after I think it was 51 years or so. This landmark, this place in last time we did it, it was this iconic sign on Broad Street. They were taking down, and people were there witnessing the sign coming down. That's what this area is like. Right on brand. This is like a Joe of Exton brand. Johnny Z of Mulligan's tweets out, yes, Schmidt's Brewery. There you go. That's why it's called Brewery Town. I think there were a bunch of breweries over there. Yeah. All in that Girard Avenue area. All right. President Trump at the Harris-Faulkner thing. Now, some people are critical. I think he called himself the father of IVF, which is an interesting...
I think it's being taken...
juxtaposition, but I don't have any problem with it. I mean,
there might be a headline. Is he saying that he's the father of IVF children? Is that what he's saying?
No, I don't. He says the
was Barron done IVF?
Oh, I don't think so.
Well, I don't know. God. Maybe that's what he's trying to say here. He's essentially saying, look, I relate. I went through this myself.
I thought he was just saying he's the father of it and that he was so much in favor. All right, let's listen to it. We'll parse it. Here's what Trump said.
So first is abortion, and then he gets into IVF.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. Hello, Mr. President. Hi. My name is Pamela. I am from Cumming, Georgia, right here, and originally from Danville, California. So facing the question of abortion, women are entitled to do what they want to and need to do with their bodies, including their unborn. That's on them regardless of the circumstance. Some are necessary to save their own lives. Why is the government involved in women's basic rights?
Right, good. I think it's great, and I'm glad you asked it. For 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart.
All right, so Trump went past what you was asking there. I think they put somebody in that was trying to goad him a bit on the abortion. Let's go to the IVF, Dan. I want to hear about this father thing.
And some went up, but it's going to be redone. It's going to be redone. You end up with a vote of the people.
Sorry, he's still talking about abortion.
And some of them I agree with. They're too tough. And those are going to be redone because already there's a movement in those states, I know exactly what you're talking about, to redo it. It's back in the states where they can have the vote of the people. It's exactly where they want to be. Remember this issue has torn this country apart for 52 years. So we got it back in the states. We have a vote of the people, and it's working its way through the system. And ultimately, it's going to be the right thing. And IVF, you had mentioned before
right,
IVF.
Let's get this question because I believe that's what this is about.
Oh, I want to talk about IVF. I'm the father.
You don't hear that every day.
I'm the father of IVF, so I want to hear this question.
Yeah. Hi, President Trump.
Hi.
Welcome back to Georgia.
You want the question too, or just?
No, it's okay. I'm back to Georgia. The father of IVF. He's not saying he did it, Dan. I think he's saying he's trying to take credit around IVF and let's have more IVF and we want more babies. And Elon Musk says it too. That type of thing. But, the pro-life people that we're talking about here, are they really going to sit on their hands in this election and say, no, Trump has sold us out? I don't think that's going to happen. I'm more concerned with these alleged Christian groups saying they can't come out and vote. My God. And some Catholic voters that are reluctant voters. I just don't get it. You have to vote. If you want to write someone in, you have to do it. I would say it's sinful not to vote. Yeah, I think it's a sin not to vote. How in the world can you defend that? I'm not going to get into the milk bottle and say it's a mortal sin, but it's some kind of sin if you don't vote. Well, I don't like either one of them. Okay, then you have the write-in option. Put Dan Borowski in there. Put Henry in there.
I don't
let's
want that.
let's see how
Put
this
Dom
is.
Giordano in
Yeah,
there.
let's see how this is.
Someone who actually wants to be president.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
No.
yes.
It should be the opposite. Someone who shouldn't want to be president.
Henry's on to something there. That's exactly right. It shows why I shouldn't be, because I want to be, right. Anybody that wants to be, you got to think, oh, man, we know what that's going to be about. All right, so it's 855-839-1210. Hit us on the side chat. Now, this black nationalist, Substack, Francesca Block reporting, this is Free Press. They're a group that is very pro-Israel. Big time Barry Weiss is the person. And I would say on a lot of issues, she's conservative, on some liberal. She talks about this guy named Sharif El-Mekki, who envisions a world where all black students are taught by same-race teachers. This guy's gotten upwards of $20 million, a lot of it from taxpayers here. He's an advisor to the Pennsylvania Department of Education and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. He supports school segregation, is a member of the Black Panther Party with family ties to Iran. Runs a nonprofit that's raked in nearly $20 million in donations from the government and nonprofits. He founded the Center for Black Educator Development, which defines his visions as a world where all black students are taught by high-quality same-race teachers. You know, nothing infuriates me more as a former teacher than to hear this nonsense, this type of nonsense. It's one thing to say we don't have enough teachers of color, people of color, black men that are teachers. Okay. You know, it's good to have a whole array of people that go into teaching. And at the elementary level, there are not that many men that are in the elementary schools. Okay. But to say we need, for learning's sake, to have black men or women with black students, does that mean we need to have whites with white and Latino? This guy is here in Pennsylvania with Josh Shapiro in the Department of Education. He goes on to say he published an information packet titled The Anti-Racist Guide to Teacher Retention. And it defines education as a political act that can upend white supremacy and a racist history of using education as an oppressive social force. Every lesson plan is a political document. Every classroom interaction is a political statement. Just think of this guy. And he's getting this type of money, and he's in cahoots with the Shapiro. I wonder if the Inquirer is going to ask Josh Shapiro about this. He has gotten, I see here in her reporting, about $526 million, of course, from the $526,000 from the Philadelphia School District. Now, Louis Farrakhan is written in the Final Call multiple times praising this guy. If you're getting Louis Farrakhan praising you in the field of education, isn't that a tell, Josh Shapiro? Isn't that something you might want to take a look at? So we'll see if she'll come on. Dan thinks she was just busy before. Good.
Yeah, send her another email.
Yeah, she is a top flight. I mean, her stuff that she's been, there were several major issues she was involved in, second to none. But we got this guy right here, NBC Universal, Gates Foundation, of course, Nike, the Bezos Family Foundation, all have contributed about $20 million by the government and nonprofits. He gave a TED Talk in January 2023 where he advocated for a connection between activism and teaching black students superbly. Neither El-Mekki or Governor Shapiro's office responded to requests from the Free Press. Hey, Josh, it's not conservative talk radio that you like. This is the Free Press. This is a kind of a nonpartisan outfit. How about giving them a comment? What do you have to say that this guy is hooked in here in Pennsylvania? And again, under the guise, she says, of saying we need more teachers of color, more men in schools, say in inner city Philadelphia and the like. This guy Anti-racism essentially means to him segregation, all the worst stuff imaginable. How in the world, and I apologize, I didn't know about this. I didn't see it until she wrote this today. So we'll see. Will this go down the memory hole, too, with the Inquirer and the others? Are they going to ask about it? Are they going to be able to defend all that money going to this taxpayer money again? And yes, it is racism. It is outright racism. It's the worst. To say, well, we need somebody of color to teach students of color. We're back to this nonsense again and getting paid for it. And the Louis Farrakhan part of this. All right, phone lines are 855-839-1210. Now, Kamala Harris was asked on the Charlemagne the God radio show about the issue of reparations. I'm not sure which cut. It may have been blended into something. And she talked about having to study it. So on this, and there wasn't a follow-up really. Now, in 2019, she was for reparations. Could have been asked, well, why are you only studying it now? The only issue she's rock solid on is the transgender issue. Rock solid on that. Brett Baer's got to ask that tonight. Got to ask a follow-up on that. And Brett, just remember, you're a pro, but less is more. You got 25 minutes. I would say no more than 5 topics in there, maybe 4. Maybe 3 if it gets going on it. Ditch the other things. Don't ask about the Middle East. Who cares? Don't ask about Ukraine, everybody else in the world. Drill down on the things that are important that we're seeing right here that she hasn't been asked follow-up questions on, even if it takes you 2 or 3 follow-up questions. Let America hear what she has to say about it. All right, here's a little bit of that commentary on reparations.
So my agenda, well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about that. And I've been very clear about that position. In terms of my immediate plan, I will tell you a few of the following. 1, as it relates to the economy, which is a lot of what you have addressed. Look, I grew up in the middle class. My mother worked hard, raised me and my sister, and by the time I was in high school, she was able to afford our first home. I know what it means for an individual and a family to have home ownership. I also know, in the context of history, nobody got 40 acres and a mule.
All right. So her real position before this was that she was in favor of reparations. She wasn't asked to follow up. How has that changed where you only want to study it now? I don't know that Brett Baer will get into that tonight. I'm going to be watching this, though. Brett Baer's got a real chance here, not to beat her up, not to do anything like that, but by careful questioning and follow-up, and particularly get her off the talking points of the middle class. Just say going in, I realize you came from the middle class. I hate to interrupt you on that, but here's what the question is. There's a way of doing it. Now, O'Reilly's going to be on tomorrow. He talked about that Brett Baer's got a lot on the line here, because if he doesn't do that, then he's just going to be like all the others, and at Fox News Channel, it's going to be interesting how he's perceived. So I'm not exactly sure why listeners are negative on Brett Baer, but I think there's some negativity there. Some of it may go back to calling the election in 2020 when that happened. There have been a couple of other incidents. I thought he had a good interview with Trump. He went back and forth with Trump on it. I didn't think that one was out of bounds at all. If he does the same thing with Harris, then I'll say the same thing. That's what I want to see tonight. All right, 855-839-1210. Anybody work in fast food? Henry, you never worked in fast food, did you?
I worked at a Panera.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
No,
Really?
That's not fast food. See, that's good food. I don't count that.
Front
You
take
count
a
that
chicken
as fast?
sandwich. Ooh, so good.
Yeah, I love Panera. You count that as fast food, though?
I mean, that's the closest I'm going to get to it.
Yeah, what did you have to do?
I did a lot of the busing, washing dishes.
Okay.
Not really much with the food.
How about working the fryer?
No, never had to do that.
No fryer.
I don't think they had a
Panera.
fryer.
Now, Eric
More of a
Trump
microwave.
said, I hope my father does a full shift working the fryer at this McDonald's on Sunday. I set the over and under that Trump will be in there 38 minutes. Dan, what do you say to that?
Yeah, that's not. I think that's a good over/under. Actually,
Yeah.
I was gonna say like 40 minutes. Yeah.
40 minutes, something like that. Yeah, just enough time. People will enjoy it.
Just enough time to develop some, fry cooked pimples on his face.
Oh my God, the stuff that he'll be doing, saying, and people are going to be lining up. They'll probably give them to him for free, any fries that he makes, because I'm sure people want him as a souvenir or something. I will tell you as soon as we know where he's going to be. But this is a pretty good troll. And it will be interesting to see the media response. They'll mock it. Is Harris then going to go to a McDonald's and show off her skills in cooking fries or something else? All right, that's what we're devolving to here. That's where we're going here in the final days. Let's take one more. Let's go to John in the Northeast. And this has a lot of sentimental value. All right, John, what's that landmark, that place that's missing?
Hey, Dom. First of all, I want to tell you, when I was younger, I was in my mid-50s, I used to go into that Horn and Hardest at Cotton and Large.
Tell Dan about it. It was romantic. You could take a date there. Let's go to the
let's be honest, he went out there on necessity, not desire.
Soda. But as I drove up and down the boulevard, you used to get the sweet smell of Nabisco Factory.
Yes.
Which closed down in 2015.
Wasn't the small street there named Nabisco too, right across the street that went into it?
Well, now it's called Nabisco.
Yeah. But it was
Nabisco Way now.
Yeah, that's right. It was a smell that I would say went for a block either way, at least, right?
Oh yeah, I live up there now, and I live probably a quarter mile, and I used to walk outside my door and just smell it.
Absolutely.
And it's a shame when they closed it down in 2015.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the Nabisco smell, Dan. I know you're going to mock that too, but it's true. It was the sweetest smell.
One of the best things when I was in Port Richmond is there was a bagel place around the corner, and you'd walk out every morning and just smelled like bagels and delicious breakfast foods.
That's one of the biggest things at the shore. It's the smell. That first smell when you start to hit close to Wildwood and all. It's smell plays a large part.
On the boardwalk, you have all the scents of the fried foods and.
Oh man, is this guy Joe Westchester calling about Eddie Savage?
No.
Oh, okay. No. I was going to say.
I thought it was Jessica Savage, but no, apparently it's a store.
Okay. I thought it was Eddie over there. Oh, my God. 855-839-1210. All right, more of your calls coming up here on Talk Radio 1210.
Friday, October 25th, 6 to 10 a.m. Kale & Company presents The Great Mock Debate.
My fellow Americans, this is your favorite president with a big, beautiful announcement. We'll be live in the South Jersey FOP Lodge 56.
Where do they want me to go? A police hall in South Jersey. No, we defund the police in the Harris administration.
We'll see if she shows up. I don't know. We'll see about it. She's very scared. She's shaking in her boots.
Do you think the audience will wear masks? I don't want to breathe in that deplorable air. All right?
Tickets for the Great Mock Debate at South Jersey FOP Lodge 56 in Berlin Township have sold out, but you can still catch every minute live. Listen Friday, October 25th, 6 to 10 a.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-200-1966. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-200-1966. That's 800-200-1966. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
See Joe Conklin with Norm Clark and Vince Valentine at the Sellersville Theater Saturday, November 2nd.
Joe is awesome, wonderful, excellent.
Joe was awesome. Merrill Reese was really funny. I thought the Charles Barkley stuff that he did was funny.
I actually looked him up online. I was kind of scared. Oh, I thought it was great. My cheeks are still hurting from laughing.
I just got here. I didn't say it, but I heard it was great.
That's Conklin with Norm Clark and Vince Valentine at the Sellersville Theater Saturday, November 2nd. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
Dom Giordano Show, welcome in. So, side question today, hit us with something that's a landmark you miss, a store, a place, that kind of thing. It's amazing. And I'm looking for somebody who worked the big fryer. With Trump doing that, Eric Trump, when we just talked with him, said, I hope he works the whole shift. I don't see Trump there 8 hours doing the fryer, but where is he going to land? As soon as we know, we got to consider that. This is quite a troll, and there will be a lot around it. Kamala Harris, several columns today. One, we've had this guy on. He's the head of the building trades, Ryan Boyer. He's in Politico, and Politico's headline is Harris operation in all-important Pennsylvania is plagued by internal party complaints. And Boyer says the person in charge, this Nikki Lou, just doesn't understand Philadelphia. They talk about the difficulty there. Could it be that might be the case? But also, this is a candidate that does not excite people even a little bit. And I think you're going to see in Philadelphia a result that is well under 500,000 vote win for Kamala Harris. That's the line Bob Brady told me. I mean, there's a lot of infighting, a lot of difficulty on this. And why is there no connection to her? Well, in the neighborhoods that are insulated from what Bidenomics, the Chestnut Hills, the Rittenhouse Squares, parts of Mount Airy and all that, they're gaga over this because they feel insulated pretty much, not completely, but pretty much from the damage that's been done. So they can't wait to celebrate all this stuff. But the average in Philadelphia, and the poorer it gets, the more Trump-related it is. The place I'm worried about is Montgomery County, because that's really insulated a lot of these people from the damage. And they have the same values as Philadelphia, at least large numbers of them. And that guy running the voting there is definitely suspect. So we'll see. There'll be more developments on voter integrity, more stuff coming up But right now, let's go to the Earl of Tacony on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Earl. Afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Dom, Dan, Henry. Yeah, I keep hearing about how Kamala's doing all of these press junkets, and I see on Twitter they're saying Trump's a coward because he's not doing 60 Minutes, because every president's done 60 Minutes. And I look at it from the standpoint that every time Kamala goes, she's going to someplace friendly, and it's like, Kamala, you're so great. Why does Donald Trump suck? And every place that Donald Trump goes, they usually ask him, you're a Nazi, you're a racist, you're a rapist. Here's a gun. Why don't you blow your brains out right here on stage and give us some ratings? I mean, why would he go and do any sort of press junket where it's going to, it's going to be antagonistic, and everything that Kamala does is going to be fawning and friendly. I mean, it's so bad. I even wrote a song about it, if you remember.
Yeah, well, one thing, though, too, she's so unskilled at this that on The View, the all-time homers, she gives it up, just asked, how are you different from Biden? And that question's got to be asked by Bret Baier again tonight in a variety of different ways. She's not going to say she's different. She can't. And as a result, we're going to say, well, then where's the change? What are you doing differently?
Well, like you said, she gets the same question, and she answers separately every single time. Every answer is completely different, or she gives the evasive non-answer. I mean, Trump does the same thing. He avoids answering questions. It's just the fact that at least he has some originality to him. Kamala is always, I was middle class, and my neighbors had nice lawns. I mean, every single question, that's pretty much that's her default. If she doesn't have an answer, that's what she jumps to.
It's on Bret Baier. Now, when it's a sitting president, Earl, it's a little harder. It is the president, but she's not the sitting president. She's the vice president. To interrupt and say, I get that point. Now let's move on from that specifically to the question. And to do that, if you have to repeatedly in kind of a gentle way, if he doesn't do that, you're right, she's going to run out the clock. What's your place, Earl?
My place is, it just shut down last year, and it's a place where race fans, hot rodders, ATCO, Motor Speedway, nitro-powered cars.
Very good. Yeah, the ATCO Speedway, don't ask me how, for years that place was huge. I mean, it was iconic. Yeah.
Drag races?
Yeah.
I had a neighbor that used to drag race over at ATCO.
Now, I would say, by extension,
old Oldsmobile.
Since Philadelphia goes to the Jersey Shore so much, you could throw one in there, too. Since everybody went there, seeing the fun house or the amusement pier close in Ocean City, hundreds, if not thousands of people came out to see that go under the other day. So feel free to throw those in, too. All right, 855-839-1210. At 2 o'clock, we're going to talk with one of the people who had to move and has gone public with this out of these apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado. Now, again, Trump helps the media by overstating it, but there is no doubt that people were attacked, extorted. There were drug gangs and still may be in a variety of places. Well, the Republican mayor says they're not. Well, I think he's just covering up. Who wants to say, yeah, we let them come in and take over. There's nothing we can do about it. And imagine if you're president and you hear Venezuelan drug gangs are taking over apartment complexes in Philadelphia or Colorado. You drop everything. Yeah, but Don, president, but you drop everything. You go there, ICE, backed up by the military. You take out every single one by any method that you need. In other words, you make a statement. You rally the country. You say, we are not going to allow a single instance of this. The Biden administration doesn't care about it at best. Who knows what they welcome and what they don't? And their excuses are, well, you're exaggerating all this. This stuff is not happening. How many people have to suffer under this? How many have to be killed or just can't stay in their own apartment before America says, you know what, there's a lot of issues, but that's it. We just can't have Venezuelan drug gangs doing this blatantly. No, we're not going to stand for it. So if you want to continue to say that's not happening, it's only a handful, Just think of the people that did. Just think of the mindset of Martha Raddatz sitting there in Alexandria, Virginia, $2 million house, that she's hell-bent to jump into the ring and to be torn apart by J.D. Vance. Or how about the CBS 3 guy? I'm going to play that again one more time coming up. J.D. was in Lafayette Hill last night, and he mentioned we don't want people who are not citizens, who are here illegally or green card, whatever the heck it is, we don't want them voting. I just want to play you a little snippet of that and take more of your calls. That's coming up here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, this year at FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge Casino, they're giving you a chance to win big every Thursday night with FanDuel Squares. It's the same Super Bowl Squares game you've always known, only way better. That's because your numbers are not just randomly assigned. You get to pick them yourself. You can pick as many as you like. You get to see the odds beforehand, and you call them live during the game. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/Dom, D-O-M, and bet on Squares. Plus, if you're new to FanDuel, you can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. Now, FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
We'll get down to the low 40s, maybe the upper 30s tonight. Mainly clear conditions. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 59. Thursday, 62 the high and the sunshine. Friday, 69. Saturday, 72 and sunny. Sunday looks great, too, with a high of 76.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. We now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. Protecting America. Fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Natural disasters happen every year. Fires, hurricanes, tornadoes. And with that, your most important moments recorded on VHS, camcorder tapes, and 8mm could all be gone in an instant. Cherished moments like your wedding, baby's first steps, family trips to Yellowstone, lost. Enter Legacy Box. Digitizing your old media with Legacy Box protects your irreplaceable memories from the threat of natural disaster by digitally preserving them onto thumb drive, DVD, or the cloud, so they're safe forever. Legacy Box is the safest and easiest way to preserve your past, which is why it's been trusted by over 1 million families. Send Legacy Box your home movies, photos, and film. Their team of trained professionals will do the rest right here in the U.S. For a limited time, Legacy Box is offering radio listeners an incredible 50% off. Go to legacybox.com/value and save 50% when you digitize your memories. That's legacybox.com/value.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare information guide absolutely free. Call 800-939-1331. 800-939-1331. 800-939-1331.
The most important part of your financial future is the firm you choose. You see, all financial firms are not the same. Traditional firms that sell securities can't guarantee income and are vulnerable to bankruptcies, market losses, capital gains taxes, and ongoing fees. But the exclusive crash-proof retirement system continues to protect over 5,000 clients from market losses and bankruptcies and provides guaranteed tax-favored income with the potential for double-digit interest returns with no fees whatsoever. Our one-of-a-kind proprietary system continues to protect billions of dollars in assets. Are you in or near retirement? There's only one crash-proof retirement for the American retiree. Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Springfield Country Club, November 20th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
If you're experiencing low energy, brain fog, or bloating, then your body might need a detox. Active Liver from New Nordic makes it easy to help your liver detox your body all year long without major changes to your diet or lifestyle.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, where will President Trump land at the Friar on Sunday? We'll get to that here with Dom. But this exchange, with all that's going on today, J.D. Vance was in town yesterday, and, you know, the local media get a chance at interviews. He was in Lafayette Hill for it's not Moms for Liberty. I think it's Moms for America. It's a different group, conservative women's group that brought him here. And he was asked about accepting Pennsylvania's election results, whatever happens. And he kind of meandered into talking about, well, we don't want people who are not allowed to vote to vote. Why is this so difficult to understand? Here's how it sounded.
When the final vote is declared in Pennsylvania, will you accept that result regardless of the outcome, yes or no?
Yeah, look, of course, we're going to accept the final result. We also want to make sure that every legal ballot is cast and counted. We want to make sure that illegal aliens don't vote in our elections. And there's, of course,
there's no evidence of illegal aliens voting in our elections. That's against the law. That's not happening.
Sure, but people can violate the law.
In a razor-thin election, Vance hopes to capture swing voters.
And I think our message to swing voters, to everybody, is, do you want higher inflation? Do you want the wide open border? Do you want the chaos all across the world? I think most voters would say no. So let's go with Donald Trump, who delivered lower prices, rising take-home pay, and most importantly, a secure southern border.
All right, and we went back to that. We isolated. The reporter there said three different things to Vance when he just dared to raise the question of this. It's illegal. No evidence of that. It's illegal. Well, it doesn't matter that it's illegal. And then the third, that's not happening. How does he know it's not happening? How do we know it's not? They're trying to say this, you're not allowed to bring this up. If there's a fear due to PennDOT, apparently at various points in the past, people maybe thought they could vote. Maybe they're here in a green card or some kind of status. They can't vote. And yet it was unclear if they could or could not. We're going after every vote. We're protecting every vote. We're not going to be pushed around by people that say, well, that's only a handful. No. This is going to be very tight. I see, as good as the signs are for Trump, Pennsylvania is going to be a slog. It's going to take 2 or 3 days before we have the final result. I would bet anything on that. All right, by the way, there is... it's not the barometer of all barometers, but there is something when people start to see in their neighborhood a lot of Trump signs, Trump Vance signs. And our own Anne-Marie, Dan, her best bet, Anne-Marie Muldoon, the voice of Mayfair, said the Trump 47 office had some, right, in that office in Northeast Philadelphia. I have another one now, too.
Yeah.
Jim Worthington strikes again.
Oh.
Buddy of the show, Marianne Davies, over the years, been tremendous. Way back to the Joey Vento testimony. She testified about Please Speak English, the cheesesteak testimony case. Wish you had been there for that. It's the most remarkable thing I've ever seen. Paint Bucks County red with blue Trump Vance yard signs. Let's blitz Bucks County. Organized by Jim Worthington. This Saturday, 8:30 a.m., you meet at the Escape entrance at the Newtown Athletic Club. Please come in groups of 2 or more to drive together. Small trucks, SUVs recommended. And we will be, you'll be given signs and assigned to specific areas to cover by putting signs on intersections. They don't want you to come, though, if you are already a door knocker. Boy, this is highly organized. So I know people like to get the yard signs. They like to put them out there. There's a place you can find them also with Jim Worthington and the Knack.
Oh, Escape's just how that's the name of the resort that they have on site.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. The Escape entrance. Jim's working people out too hard. Oh, man.
Yeah. A whole resort with a restaurant, 3 family pools, 2 35-foot water slides, a lazy river.
I broadcast from there, and I could not believe that's when I was on 9 to noon. We got there around 7:30. Hundreds and hundreds of people who already worked out for the day. Maniacs, yeah.
I'm looking at pictures here.
It's huge, right by a pool we broadcast. So, again, if you want the yard signs, let me know where you've seen that you can get them. We're checking on them. I hope Montgomery County gets more. There is something about seeing areas go, wow, this is amazing to me. I didn't think there'd be this much of it. Now, I haven't been in areas, even in Philadelphia, where I see a lot of Harris wall signs. I see some. But the Trump sign, people really like that and all kinds of varieties of it, et cetera. They had another Trump boat thing in Florida the other day with Eric Trump. Hundreds and hundreds of boats in a parade. This is unparalleled. You didn't see this with Clinton, Bush, Obama, anybody like that. Quite this sort of outward show of support. Let's go to Frank in South Philly. He's on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Frank, good afternoon.
Hey, Dom, Dan, and Henry, how you doing today?
Good.
Hey, Dom, first of all, I'd like to give the President Trump a safety tip when he goes and fries and French fries, because what happens is if them French fries are wet, the oil will boil up, and it's a safety tip so it doesn't get burned with that oil.
Well, but, he's got
the official French fry campaign advisor, Frank in South
thank you,
Philly.
Frank. But he's got the orange toner on, Frank, and I think that can repel grease, probably. At least when I'm up close, looks like it.
Hey, Dan, I go by Frank G. Crenity, Food Master of South Philadelphia, because I do numerous things with. We had 50 years of in business, in the food business.
Yep, we know, Frank. You got an event coming up, Frank. What's your event?
Yes, November 10th is for the all veterans and all branches are invited to come here November 10th from 9 to 12 at 18th and Bigler. The exact address is 2900 South 18th Street. And we're going to do with the VFW that I belong to. I'm a member of VFW and also the American Legion. We do a 21 gun salute and all is welcome. And that includes the staff from Radio 1210 there. I was waiting for you, Dom, at the Christopher Columbus parade to give you a little taste with the homemade wine that I make. But I didn't happen to see it.
All right, we'll see if we can do November 10th. Thank you, Frank. All right, Dan Time with Dom has its first guest. This is a big moment here. Soon Henry will be booking guests for the Henry segment. I forget what that was called. But our own Dave Scalish, boy, I hope engineering doesn't go down during this. That would be bad.
I know. He comes in the studio and immediately is faced with an engineering issue.
I know. But he's with us next because one of the all-time, it's definitely top 5 Philadelphia places we miss, the Bazaar of All Nations. He'll describe what that was like in Clifton Heights. Maybe you've never heard of it. I wish it were there. I wonder if Lou Zamuda, the king of vertical blinds, is still around. Now, that's a great photo. You had to see that, Dan. He had his
own
a
commercial?
Yes, the king of vertical blinds. He had his own fan club at 96 at WWDB. All right, that's next. Stand time here on Talk Radio 1210. Let's talk about Roy at Batteries Plus Bulbs. Now, Roy is the originator, my buddy there, that has 2 big Batteries Plus Bulbs, Mount Laurel, Route 73, Tilton Road in Northfield. He founded the original flagship here. So these, this is not a work in progress. He knows exactly what he's doing. Any battery need, I don't care how small, how big, any tech need, they're going to have it at Batteries Plus Bulbs. But in addition to that, as he always says, they power it, they light it, and they fix it. They can fix things and help you to understand tech a little bit better, be it a business or just an individual. I've told you the stories of people so glad to meet someone where customer service is king. If you're willing to do what it takes to help, you'd like a part-time job there, he's looking because of the demand, because so many people that we've sent there. Now, this is a handy do-it-yourselfer would be ideal, a great low-pressure part-time job. Be part of the team. Give Roy a call, 856-638-0778. And whatever that tech issue is, your phone, anything, give a call right now, 856-638-0778. Batteries Plus Bulbs, Mount Laurel, and Northfield.
Your weeknights are getting a whole lot better. With Jimmy Fallon, 7 to 10 p.m.
To the WPHT audience, welcome. It's a station that has such good relationships with its listeners. Listeners who are passionate about the country that we live in. Listeners who reside in the state that will decide this very next election. So I kind of feel like we were meant for each other. As people who care, as people who can converse honestly about issues, it's a big deal to get on a station that prioritizes these relationships with their listeners.
Jimmy Fallon, now weeknights, 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. Each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins, they won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
When it comes to making windows look their best, nobody beats me, Lou Zamuda, the king of vertical blinds. Treat yourself to stunning windows with custom-made verticals. They rotate to any angle, come in a rainbow of exciting colors, and for the ultimate luxury, let me frame your blinds with matching lambrequins and set them off with a custom quilted bedspread. Call my free shop-at-home service or drop by one of my convenient showrooms. Remember, nobody beats my low prices or my royal service, and I guarantee it.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
It's Dan time
I can handle things. I'm smart, not like everybody says.
with Dom.
That's right, it's that time of the afternoon. Producer Dan takes over the Dom Giordano program for some Dan time with Dom. And Dom, my favorite thing about radio shows is when you get a kind of glimpse behind the scenes. And we got a guy here sitting in studio right now, Dave Scalish. So let's do some Dave time with Dom. A guy that... when you think of the radio guys that are hanging upside down on top of the transmitters and the giant towers with the harnesses, that's the guy that we got here sitting with you. And this guy, Dave Scalish, he was someone that frequented a great place that we've been talking about all day, a landmark that's missed, the Bazaar of All Nations. And Dave, sell me on this as somebody who's never been to the Bazaar before. What was so special about that to the locals?
I have memories that go back to when I was a young child. I mean, I remember we went there on a Saturday night to get something. And who shows up in the parking lot but Al Alberts and Stella, his wife.
Oh, Al Alberts
and they were
can't do better than that.
They were being, and they, it was, I think they came in a white Cadillac maybe.
Right.
And they were like, it was beautiful. The humanity that came together. And they were carrying bags, and the Bazaar bags would say the savings are in the bag. You know? And then you walk in the Bazaar, and the smell of the sticky buns hits you in the face.
Right.
And you know, and once that you don't want to leave. And then you go in further down these long hallways, and they had a great hobby shop there. I mean, everything in the hobby shop. They had a hardware store way down the other end, near one of the 3 pizza places they had. And my mother had this one-piece American Standard seafoam green toilet from the 50s that had a flower pot flush valve in it. They were the only ones that had the replacement gaskets for the flush valve.
Oh, my God.
So it sounds like you're describing almost like a shopping mall before shopping malls.
I think they did consider it like one of the original malls. And
it was that, but it's kitschy. It's
yes.
Yeah, it's like these places like the Berlin Farmers Market or something, indoors with characters all over the place selling stuff.
Yeah.
Like a market you would see in the Middle East or something. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it had, and it was pure Delco.
Right.
It had it all. I mean, you could get your hair cut there. You can go to the art store and get your stuff for your project for the next day.
Said, like, I'm going to the Bazaar this weekend to get my hair cut.
You could go buy the balsa wood for the airplane you're going to build that you're going to crash the next day or whatever, and the airplane glue that you're going to sniff. And what else? They had a Modell Sporting Goods there. They had Jerry's Records. You can buy. They had.
So it's all new products. We're not talking like a glorified antique store.
No, it was all new. Yeah.
What is it that closed it, Dave?
Well, time marched on, and I think it was the early 90s, I think, when it closed. I think the property just got to be too valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have
Golden Mile, right?
Yeah. Right before it, I guess they consider the Golden Mile, but think about it, now we have a Home Depot there, we have an Acme, a few other big stores there. It just got, financially speaking, I think the real estate got to be too valuable to support that business.
Other than a bazaar, what's the iconic place that you miss? Tell Dan about Horn and Hardt's.
Horn and Hardt's, Melrose Diner, of course, it's not Delco, but I miss that.
Yeah.
I miss supermarkets. I miss the Penn Fruit. Now, that's way before your time.
Yeah.
Now, next to the bazaar, there was a Penn Fruit. They had this huge concrete sign. It was like, they call it the Statue of Liberty of Delco. It was this huge. And it said Penn Fruit Co. on it, CO for company. And then it became a Burlington Coat Factory store for, I don't know, another 40 years. Penn Fruit was another thing I miss from that area. Next, in fact, it's still there next to where the bazaar was, is Putt-Putt Golf. We go play golf there.
There's still a Putt-Putt?
There's still a Putt-Putt there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Delco is just a great place. I can't say any better than that.
While we got Dave, I want to go back into the history of Philadelphia, too, because I don't know, this might have been before your time, but talking for our Money Melody coming up, we're going to center it around Live Aid and the concert down there at JFK Stadium. Don't know, were you there for that concert?
I wasn't at Live Aid, but I remember attending an Army-Navy game with one of my buddies of mine from high school. He drove a Ford Fairlane 68 Ford Fairlane that had a great heater in it. The reason why was because it was so cold that day. We left at halftime. My legs were numb from the knees down, and we got in that. Ronnie, my buddy, fired up that heater in 2 minutes. We're toasty.
Yeah, Memorial Stadium, bad.
Yeah,
that's my memory of it.
And another thing behind us right now, you hear when we do a question like this, Dave. A lot of times when we talk about a Philadelphian you want back, it's Larry Ferrari, and I don't know if you have any memories of him.
Now, Larry, that thing he had been on for decades. I used to get up early on a Sunday morning. I'd get on I had a little Honda 350 motor. I'd ride down to Tinicum, sit by the river, and just ponder the life in the world and so on and so forth.
Just listening to organ music?
And then, no, wait, hold on a second. The story gets better. Then I'd get back on the bike. I'd ride home, put the toast in the toaster, turn on Larry Ferrari. And in the bottom, they had the crawl, all the anniversaries, the birthdays.
That's right.
Remember
Ahead
that?
of his time.
And he's there playing away, and he does his ad for, what was the ad? Roadside America was one of his, was one of his sponsors. I missed that.
Absolutely.
Shafe over on youtube.com/@12th and WPHT, a guy that frequented the bazaar himself. Just curious, Dave, where you went to high school?
Oh, Interboro, class of 79. We just had our reunion. I couldn't make it, but I saw pictures. We had a beautiful class. Everybody they're just beautiful people.
All right.
Well, thank you, Dave.
The first guest on Day and Time with Dom. Now, Henry's working up a segment here. I don't know. We're breaking down barriers here. Thank you, Dave.
We'll be listening.
Thank you. The Bazaar of All Nations, Dan's got to be in the top 5.
I also make fun of Dave. I make fun of a lot of people with the Larry Ferrari love, because it's like, how do you sit there watching a guy play the organ? I turned on some old Larry Ferrari. I said, amazing. People used to sit here watch this for hours. An hour later, we're still sitting there watching Larry Ferrari. I get it.
And Al Albert's following. Yes. Yeah. All right. So coming up, we'll go to Aurora, Colorado. Things not quite as good there. Henry's gotten a woman who had to move out of her apartment complex. You guessed it, because of Venezuelan drug gangs. She'll get to tell her story unfiltered versus a bunch of people in the media saying, well, it only sounds like a handful of people wanting to kill you or extort you, rape you, and deal drugs and take over, literally, apartment complexes. And we'll have Dom's Money Melody at 855-839-1210. That's all next on Talk Radio 1210.
This is Larry Sinus with Investor Schooling. You may know me from my book, Money Hacks. You may know me from my radio shows. And you may even know me from some of these commercials. But listen, I'm teaching stuff that people need to learn about money. In fact, my favorite topic is money. So go to investorschooling.com and you will learn things about money that you never even knew existed. We will teach you things about real estate, about the stock market, and about how to use your IRAs properly. Go to investorschooling.com and sign up for a complimentary class this Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That's investorschooling.com. This is Larry Sinus with Investor Schooling. Are you tired of hearing about the recession that's coming? Are you prepared for it? Well, listen, at investorschooling.com, we're going to teach you ways to prepare for the recession that you didn't even know existed. We're going to teach you strategies on how to use real estate. We're going to teach you strategies how to use the stock market properly. That's right, you can even make money in the stock market when the stock market goes down. Hey, go to investorschooling.com and register for a free class this Thursday night, and you will learn all of these techniques. Go to investorschooling.com right now, RSVP for this Thursday. We'll see you there.
Got a roofing problem? Don't let it ruin your day.
Emmons Roofing and Siding offers professional roofing services, from repairs to complete lifetime warranted replacements.
And you can trust our experienced team to keep your home safe and secure. And we can even handle insurance claims for you.
Give us a call today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on the web at callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Space may be the final frontier, but it's also what a lot of us lack in our basement or garage. By switching to a Navien tankless water heater, not only will you have all the hot water you need whenever you need it, but you'll gain storage area as well. Maybe a place to display your space collectibles. Highly logical. Learn about Navien's series of high-efficiency tankless water heaters and how they don't just save space, but save dollars on your utility bills too. For more, go to tanklessmadesimple.com.
We know you're uncertain about psychics. Is this fortune teller you found on a forum legit?
Your one true love is...
me! That's why California psychics reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. New customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Now on Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Colorado, Rocky Mountain High. Well, maybe not so much, at least in Aurora, Colorado. That's where we take you. We're thrilled to bring you Cindy Romero, who we've seen on a couple of cable shows, I think. talking about having to move out of her apartment complex and wanting to know she pays her rent, she's a patriotic American, why she'd have to do that, and why in America you would have this Venezuelan drug gang essentially, if not completely take over, have an awful lot of influence and violence in a housing complex, maybe in several housing complexes, whatever the media says. Let's go to Cindy here on Talk Radio 1210. Cindy, welcome to Philadelphia. So happy to have you today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So, Cindy, just tell us your story. We've seen you in the news a little bit, and we'll talk about how you feel when people are trying to diminish what you suffered. You were in a housing complex in Aurora. What started to happen?
Over the length of time, the crime started to escalate. As they escalated, I grabbed more and more cameras and put more locks on my doors. We watched slowly as they began to take over the apartments. One by one, they would kick in the doors. They would run off the people who would live there by intimidation or just torture, just nonstop music and fighting and trashing the place and destroying the property. Huge parties that would last all night long. Slowly, we saw them escalating to where they'd get to our floor. And we tried to take a stand. The police would not respond. Their hands were tied by upper police leadership in Aurora. And it began to be unbearable until there was a huge shootout on August 18th, which resulted in the murder of an immigrant that was staying in the building. I suddenly found I was the last person that was a leaseholder in my building.
The last that was an actual leaseholder. Wow.
Yes.
Now, Cindy, I'm sorry. I wanted to get this in, though. In one report I saw, your car was hit. A bullet hit your car.
Yes. In that firefight, the shootout that happened on August 18th, a bullet went through my car. It went through one side and out the other, left a very large hole. There's also a bullet hole in my husband's car.
Well, how long were you a resident in that complex?
4 years.
Yeah. Wow. Cindy, I want to play you President Trump when he went to Aurora, was asked about this, and you're going to hear him stress the importance, and we place second to none, of hearing people like you, because you know, whatever the politicians and media say, you've actually lived it. Here's what Trump said.
And because of Cindy and others like Cindy, the radical left can't say it never happened, because there we have it. And I promise you this, Cindy, that Kamala Harris's reign of terror ends the day I take the oath of office. It ends. Your community will no longer live in fear. You will once again have a protector in the White House. I'm going to be a protector.
All right, Cindy, the mayor then, who's Republican, said, we're making a much ado about nothing. Everything's under control. You've had to move. So what do you say about that?
They've made quite a few arrests for it not being a problem, and they've only made one arrest from my video. I feel like it's enough of a problem where they should stop denying it and do something about it. And the neighborhood watch in that area agree with me. It's time for the leadership there to do something about it.
So, Cindy, most of these people, or all of them, are here illegally, you believe, right? And they are from Venezuela?
Oh, yeah, they're definitely from Venezuela. I've talked to them on several occasions. These people were outside of my door for almost a year with guns. I guess I've spoke with them several times. I know where they're from. I know they're from different parts of Venezuela. I know that there are immigrants in the building that are also victims.
Cindy, is your security camera? We see some pretty famous footage from there. Heavily armed men waiting outside a door. I think one then kicks it in. Is that from your security cameras? I'm sure you've seen what I'm talking about.
Yes. My husband and I had just had enough of being gaslit and ignored by the police, and we had to do something. We released a video. We had been living with it for quite some time, so It wasn't quite as shocking to us as it was to everyone else, but we had been seeing the rampant crime, been recording it, been sending it to the police, been being ignored.
Cindy Romero with us here on Talk Radio 1210. So, Cindy, Martha Raddatz, I hope you've seen this by now. J.D. Vance advanced your cause, I think, reasonably, and said, we're not saying it's every street in Aurora, but there is enough of this, as you said. It's more than just an isolated incident. And Raddatz said it's a handful on ABC News.
The incidents were limited to a handful of apartment complexes, and the mayor said our dedicated police officers have acted on those concerns. A handful of problems.
She lives in a house, it's guesstimated, it came out this week in Alexandria, Virginia, of over $2 million. Nobody is having parties to 4 a.m. Nobody is extorting, beating. Some of these were people that ran the apartment complex. How do you feel when you see people in the media? I don't know if the local media does this or not, too. How does Cindy Romero feel?
I'm angry, and I'm fed up with the gaslighting and the lying. It is a problem. It's going to continue to be a problem, and it's spreading. It's not just in a handful of complexes. As I was looking for a new place to live, it's well more than a handful, and not just in Aurora, in neighboring Denver and surrounding counties in that area as well.
Yeah, we've read that this sort of thing spreads. And I don't see, I've never seen you say anything untoward to immigrants doing it the right way or anything else. These are actually gangs, and they're not just coming there to deal drugs or whatever. They're actually running the places, is what it appears to be.
Correct. Yes, I'm still in contact with a lot of the immigrant families that were in my building, and they were being victimized by this gang. They were happy that I was releasing the videos and wanted me to continue to release the videos so the gangs would not come back.
How about the local media, Cindy? I mean, they're on the ground. They have to see this type of stuff. Are they more accepting of your point of view?
I was actually encouraged by the Aurora Police Department to contact the media. I had a history of voting Democrat, so I actually reached out to that media first, thinking that there would be some outrage, some help for an ordinary American citizen who was paying their bills on time, who could not get out of the situation, and I was ignored.
Wow. So far, the only people that seem to have come to your aid are who? I mean, it seems like Trump at the rally, people like that. Certainly, we've heard about you, and it's shocking to us. I can't imagine that happening here in Philadelphia without more of a response. Who do you feel is in Cindy Romero's corner?
Donald Trump. He spoke out for me. He's the only one who spoke out for me. And he seems to be banging the table to draw attention to it. The Republican Party has embraced me and have accepted me, and it's truth. It's video footage. I would not wish to go through this, and I don't wish any other American to go through it either. And that's why I brought it to light. That's why I'm taking this chance with myself and my family's lives.
Cindy, that's why I asked you. You're there 4 years. One of the hardest things to do, other than what you've been through, is to move and to have to find another apartment complex. So it doesn't seem to me, if you could gut it out, that you wouldn't have stayed there. I mean, you just don't want to pack up and move and have to go through all the new things, right?
Oh, yeah. And I was dug in, too, for 4 years. I was never planning on moving. So that was my hill I was standing on, and I wasn't going to let them take my hill until I realized that no apartment, and no matter how difficult it is to move or how cost-consuming it was, no apartment's worth dying for. And I would have never moved due to codes. Never. There was nothing wrong with my apartment. I loved it. For the price I was paying, I had great square footage. And that's hard to find these days. So, no, I would never have moved unless I was pushed out.
Well, Cindy, it's hard to understand how the mayor, who for the record is a Republican, or the governor, or the local officials that have heard of this, how they don't say this is exactly why I ran for office I have the power. Not in America am I going to allow somebody here illegally in gangs to be extorting and running housing complexes. I don't care if it's 5 of them, 10 of them, or 100 of them. We're going to get them out, and it's our mission in life to stop them and just allow you to have the life that you had before. How about where you are now? Do you feel safer? Is it less stressful there?
Yeah, it's a bit. I actually, when I call the police, they actually show up, which is great. Unfortunately, I have to go back to Aurora quite often because my family still lives there, and I was the one who encouraged them to move there. So I'm going to keep bringing things to light and keep exposing crime in that neighborhood until they finally do something about it. I have family members there. I have people I care about who live there.
Cindy, good for you. And again, I know you got a lot going on, but let our guys, Dan or Henry, know of something developing. We want to talk with you again. Thank you. This is a service. You're protecting all of us by bringing this to light, Cindy. Thank you very much.
Anytime. Thank you so much.
Cindy Romero, tip of the hat, Henry and Dan, getting her on. She's been much in the news. And I think Trump could say it even more. Here's the difference between Kamala Harris and me. A story like this, if I'm president, not only am I turning ICE loose, not only am I backing him up with whatever I have to back up, and I don't care if it's a Republican mayor and Republican police, they can go to hell. I'm going to come there personally. Not in America. And that's what the Martha Raddatz, Vance did a great job, but I would even say he could have gone a little bit further and say, not in our America, Martha Raddatz, not in that America. He did say, do you just hear yourself, which was really cutting. We're not going to allow this. This is a simple thing. We're not going to allow this. We're going to get every one of them out of there. We're going to deport them. We're going to follow up on all their context and everything associated with them. And these people that asked, how are you going to deport 11 million people on all this? We're going to start. We're going to start doing it. And hopefully a lot of them will self-deport. They don't belong here. They're here illegally. And significant amounts are not only here illegally, they are gaming the system to terrorize Americans. You just heard one of them. I don't know what Martha Raddatz would say. She is beyond disgraceful. She is one of the most biased, the worst, the insider game. Only a handful is what you hear. Same thing we told you today when it comes up. J.D. Vance asked by this CBS 3 guy over in Lafayette Hill last night. That's not true. He knows there's no illegals voting in Pennsylvania elections in this upcoming election, or people that are here legally, but they're not legally able to vote. He knows that. That's incontrovertible. No, I know what he'd say. Only a handful. Why do you guys keep on bringing this up? Why do you not see it? Why do you not side with Cindy Romero versus siding with what? Why do you not side with Riley Gaines and these young women playing sports, and you think we have to shove down their throat some guy, biological male, gender fluid, whatever it might be, who just can't play against males? To prove what? To do what? That's where the difference is. These things are pretty clear. All right, phone lines are easy. A nice job of getting her on. 855-839-1210. Give me your reaction. Again, imagine being in that situation. And again, how many times do we see this? Right away, the mayor, Republican. Oh, Trump is causing damage here. Now, again, Trump ought to zone in. There's enough here. Do not make vague statements. You have to have it written down, or be J.D. Vance, to clearly and cogently take this out. Because if you don't, the media, rather than concerned about Cindy Romero, is going to be concerned with diminishing your story. 855-839-1210. But first, before your calls, it's time for...
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Money gone.
That is exactly right. And today we are playing for a, well...
Weird Al Yankovic tickets, right?
Oh, yeah. The show sheet's so big today. There's so much stuff on here, I can't see it.
We're
and
away for next year,
that's July of 2025.
Yeah. Yeah, big tickets on the line with some Weird Al tickets here. And Dom, today we're talking about forgotten things or things we miss from Philadelphia. And I mentioned it with Scalish when he was on earlier, but we're talking about JFK Stadium and Live Aid. And I was going to do the guy that led off Live Aid, but it's too obscure. This guy named Bernard Watson, well, that's the stage name of David Weinstein, was a kid who camped outside JFK for a week leading up to the concert and somehow convinced Bill Graham to let him lead off in the name of charity. Never performed a song professionally before and performed 2 songs. But on that list, there are some standouts that you're like, how did they get on this bill? And this band is one of those bands that I'm like, how did they end up at Live Aid? So, Dom, I want to know the name of this cover artist, well, cover band here, covering a great Monkees song. Who's the name of the band that performed at Live Aid at JFK Stadium back in the day? Take a listen.
I could hide beneath the wings of the bluebird as she sings. The 6 o'clock alarm would never ring.
The rare case where I play a cover that I think might be better than the original.
Yeah, the Monkees were a thing. I mean, they were just unexplainable. It was a brief trend. I interviewed them at the Phillies game when we did a pregame broadcast.
Did you?
They were throwing out the pitch. One of them was.
Did you ask why they stole the Beatles act?
No, it wasn't that type. It's not that type of thing. We're there for the Phillies. Can't be doing probing journalism. All right.
We're looking for the cover band today that performed at Live Aid. Dom here performing a Monkees song.
All right, it's 855-839-1210, AT&T, and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is push pound 1210, and we'll get you off to Weird Al Yankovic on Talk Radio 1210.
And now you know how happy I can be.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
I heard a press conference with Terrell Parker, the mayor here. She went on and on about the lawlessness of Philadelphia and the gun violence. What are you doing about it, sweetheart?
Yeah, that was my rant about a month ago. I'm done hearing about your lip service.
How long has she been in office for?
9 months. Where's the Philadelphia Inquirer and all these local media people? Are they grilling her? Do we know about that? Is there any tough questions coming her way? Or are we still in the honeymoon phase?
I've seen nothing in 9 months.
Yeah, although they report that crime is down.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hey, it's Rhea Hughes. Fall is upon us, and now is the perfect time to head over to Lexus of Cherry Hill for the L Certified Fall Collection sales event. It's much nicer than pumpkin spice. They have over 300 new and L Certified pre-owned Lexus to choose from. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. For every car sold during October, a donation will be made to Virtua's breast cancer patient and early detection programs. Stop in and see my friend Tony Labello and his team, or visit online at lexusofcherryhill.com. Lexus of Cherry Hill, family owned and operated.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Freedom Care, we're here for you.
Medicare is making important changes in 2025. Independence Blue Cross can help. Our Medicare Advantage plans include premiums as low as $0, dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage. The deadline to enroll is December 7th. Visit ibxmedicare.com/radio. Independence Blue Cross offers PPO, HMO, POS, and HMO Medicare Advantage plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Independence Blue Cross PPO, HMO, POS, and HMO Medicare Advantage plans depends on contract renewal.
The following is a paid commercial message.
It's happening here in Pennsylvania. Sanctuary cities are releasing violent illegal immigrants onto our streets with the help of Bob Casey. Casey voted repeatedly to fund these dangerous sanctuary cities. Casey's policy let more illegals, more criminals loose in our neighborhoods, making our families less safe. Worse, instead of deporting criminal illegals, Casey voted to give them amnesty. Casey's amnesty would give illegal immigrants your Social Security and Medicare. That's right, Casey would give your benefits to illegals, but he'd also make you pay more. Casey voted for higher taxes on seniors' Social Security benefits. Seniors can't afford higher taxes? Bob Casey, taxing you to pay illegals. It's just another Casey con job. It's time for a change. It's time to fire Bob Casey. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. SenateLeadershipFund.org.
There's breaking news all day long from around the world, and sometimes all that noise makes it hard to hear about what's happening right here at home. With the free Odyssey app, getting your local news plus breaking news is easy. And even when you're not near a radio, stay connected with what's going on right here by listening live and push alerts. Just download the free Odyssey app and search and follow your local news station, and you're good to go. The local breaking news to get you through your day at your fingertips on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Free speech lives here. With Dom Giordano, weekdays noon till 3 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
It's Dom Money Melody.
Where has all the money gone?
Show me the money.
That's exactly right. All right, Dan, tapping into a bit of nostalgia here. Memorial Stadium, Live Aid. What was that, Dan? Was it 80 what?
I should have that in front of me here. Let me scroll up here. It's 1985, July 13th.
85, okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear the clue, and we're looking for the cover band.
I could hide beneath the wings of the bluebird as she sings. The 6 o'clock alarm would never ring.
All right, let's try Joe in Audubon. Joe, who's covering that song?
Hey, Dom, I'm going to say it's the not 1, not 2, not 3, but the 4 tops.
Ah, very good. That is an unusual. I, in a million years, wouldn't have guessed that, Dan.
Yeah, 4 tops appearing at JFK Stadium for that Live Aid, Dom, and not something you'd expect, but they signed a contract with Motown, re-signed a contract with Motown Records just a year prior to getting booked and wanting to promote their new record. But since then, 4 tops, oftentimes conflated with the Temptations, both all-time Motown greats, and for a while there, the Temptations and the 4 Tops were doing a battle on stage, like a Motown battle bumping off of each other, but didn't really fit the bill, in my opinion, for what else we saw there with some, harder rock bands and Tina Turner.
Yeah, well, that's the highlight. Jagger and Tina Turner pulling off her skirt. I mean, that was beyond belief. And Madonna, I would argue.
Buttercup, then you get that.
Yeah, Madonna, I would argue that was her major debut. She was sort of a little bit known. She sang Holiday. I can remember it as if it were yesterday. And Memorial Stadium didn't look that bad. It was big when you have that type of act. My God. All right, so Joe's the winner. Enjoy Weird Al Yankovic. All right, a couple of things. Tim Walsh just gave an interview in which she tells, I'm trying to see which channel this is, or it may have been a local news. Yeah, I am frustrated with the Teamsters and the firefighters unions because they declined to endorse. He blamed it on their political leadership that covered their butts. So, and can you imagine this guy trying to spin it that the political leadership, say of the Teamsters here, all they did, goofball, is release the polling of their members, and it was enormous that they favored Trump. They favor America. They don't favor guys like you who could not know how to clean your or load up your own shotgun. All right, let's go to Joe in Westchester. Hey, Joe, good afternoon.
This is Joe. I called in with the answer. By the way, I remember Horn and Hartswell, and I remember Penn Creek.
Okay, good, Joe.
Okay.
Who are you going with today?
All right, but, well, when I was 6 or 7, I was walking home from St. Francis de Sales to where we lived and where I was raised and born and raised. West Philadelphia, Chestnut Street. And I would cross all these streets.
Yeah, Joe, give me your answer, Joe.
Okay, I would stop at one of the
answer.
Now an old-fashioned.
All right, Joe has Savage. Thank you, Joe. I'm sorry, but thank you, Joe. All right, here is the We'll put them down for that. It's a pretty famous store. Here is the Walls clip talking, I think it's local media, about this. And again, the Teamsters went out of their way to try to say, no, we're not just going to roll over and endorse Harris and Walls. We're not endorsing Trump, even though that's what the membership wanted. So I think they went down the middle, everything considered, and the firefighters. Here's what he said.
What is it about that they've been able to fool these people?
In rank and file union members, one thing. Look, the leadership in unions, that's more political than what I'm doing.
Right.
They have to cover their butt on their things, and I'm as frustrated as you are on this, Will. But the one thing I do think about, you wonder what happened. The first thing I think of, there's not something wrong with my constituents. These are good people trying to go to work and do things. And like the New York Times sends somebody out every few weeks to interview a guy at a bar and figure out what happened to rural America. These are my family. I've lived there. I do think one of the things, I always said this as a teacher, if I would give an exam or something and a majority of students would not do well, probably had a little something to do with me.
Well, what is it? We've arrived now at something after you've attacked the union membership. The union membership is on your side by and large. They can't restrain their union members here, though. They don't want you. They're proud, patriotic Americans. They don't want this anti-American stuff. They may not agree on Trump with every labor thing, but they're off the reservation now, and we know where they're going, and they stop the firefighters, the Teamsters. You don't get more union than this. So it would have been interesting to hear if Will, whoever that guy is, well, what is it you think they object to? That would have been the question I'd like to hear. What is it they object to? And then let's follow up and figure out, are you going to change that? So if you're a union member, we've been through this with the Teamsters, the firefighters. What's the single biggest objection to Walz's point you would say with the rank and file is? What is it that triggered this, that they had to do a poll? We knew this in the past, but they weren't polling. They would just make the endorsement. People would grumble about it. We would say, how in the world are these union guys and women endorsing something that's not in their interest? And it got to be so overwhelming, so palpable, I think. So the guy that we have on from the Teamsters, Bill Hamilton, is a very nice guy and all that. I think he would go along with the Harris Walls. But I think his membership just made the point, no, we can't do this anymore. So what did they do? They didn't endorse Trump as the membership would want them to do. They just refrained. I can live with that. I think they're saying, all right, well, come on, we can't endorse him. Wink, wink, but everybody knows where you guys are. We're going to release the poll. All right, 855-839-1210. By the way, on the transgender thing, we played you Trump's response to that today. The San Jose state has, it looks to be several players now. This is the team that has the trans player. They're suing too. They're criticizing. You got to give Riley Gaines a lot of credit for this. Think about where we were with Leah Thomas. Those women over at Penn were scared to death. And some people would call in, they'd be nasty. Well, they got to speak up and all. Look, they were facing an institution that was telling them, we'll get you blackballed for the rest of your life. Shut up. You lose your scholarship. Your name will be out there. But now it's broken loose. Now you have women both on several teams that are saying, no, we're not playing this team. And on the team itself with the trans player, they're also suing or speaking out publicly against it. You got to see how things progress. That's a breakout. But what Republicans have to do, what Trump has to do on this, he said it at today's event. I'm not going to replay it. It takes too. What they have to do is Trump has to say, I'm going to get rid of this. Exactly. It's not a hard question. I'm going to use the power of the federal government, the office of the presidency, education department, and we're going to go after every school district, every PIAA, and everything else that is engaging in this. Is that not a winning position? But be specific about it rather than just say we're going to get rid of it. Say this is exactly what we're going to do. Now, people on the other side will call you a hater. They'll go crazy. It's an easy argument to make. This is, every time Riley Gaines is on, this is the low-hanging fruit. People, it's not even the injury thing. I wouldn't even talk so much about the injury thing. I would just talk about the pure competitive part of this. These are competitive young women who have worked incredibly hard. And we're going to tell them, you have to compete against somebody you can't compete against. And then we're going to tell them you're going to have to work harder. We're going to blame them. Make mention of this more. Bring this up more. You can even do the Gingrich approach and say, look, I've talked about the grocery store. I've talked about inflation. I've talked about the border. You know my positions. Who are we kidding here? You just don't want to hear what America is enraged about. And they're enraged about this subject. And high school bathrooms, yeah, they're enraged about that. But they're enraged that young women can't have their own sports, Title IX, the whole thing that's been built up. All right, 855-839-1210. But imagine Walz blaming the leadership of the firefighters and the Teamsters who went out of their way to try to diffuse this situation. They can't do it because it's so overwhelming. Trump has broken through. That's what the bottom line is. 855-839-1210. You get in. Hey, for years I've talked about the real health benefits of Rescue Natural Supplements after making their omega-3s part of my daily routine. From supporting heart health to providing pain relief, they provide essential ingredients that impact our bodies in so many ways. Listen to the recent comment from Carol. She says triglycerides are at an all-time low. It increased my well-being while joint pains and muscle aches, they've decreased too. People like Carol have trusted Rescue with their health goals, and now it's your turn. Because for a limited time, use the code OMEGA50 for this exclusive buy one, get one free offer on any of the 7 Rescue Omega-3 choices. To get this special radio offer, call 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or use the code online, res-q.com, res-q.com. Remember, the code OMEGA50, OMEGA 50. Buy one, get another Rescue Omega-3 absolutely free.
We'll get down to the low 40s, maybe the upper 30s tonight. Mainly clear conditions. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 59. Thursday, 62 the high and the sunshine. Friday, 69. Saturday, 72 and sunny. Sunday looks great, too, with a high of 76.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. And one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
Wow, honey, have you seen the electric bill?
Yeah, it's out of control. But have you heard of Navien tankless water heaters?
Tankless? How does that even work?
Well, instead of constantly heating and storing water, it only heats water when we need it. So much more efficient than our giant tank heater.
That sounds great. Let's look into Navien.
Already on it.
Imagine all the hot water you need only when you need it. Bulky tanks are history. Navien high-efficiency tankless is the future. Compact, wall-hung units free up floor space, lower energy bills, longer life than tanks, and a 15-year warranty. Find out more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Buy low, sell high. It's a cardinal rule of investing. With the market near record highs, you need a proven system that protects what you have earned without sacrificing opportunity for growth.
Jim O'Neill, Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania. With the stock market at record highs, I would recommend taking your money and put it into a crash-proof retirement system. This year, I have earned over 14%, and it can't be taken away.
Gail Schlosser, and I started with crash-proof retirement in 2016. I'm getting great returns, up to 12 to 15%, and it's not going to dwindle away in the stock market.
Regina Kukulski, Langhorne. This year, I earned 10.5% interest. I feel really good looking at that because it's not money I lost.
Dolores Queen, Hatboro, Pennsylvania. We have outperformed the market this year, and when we earn 14%, it's ours to keep.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at Springfield Country Club, November 20th, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
The leaves are changing color, the air is crisp, and it's the perfect time to fall into savings on a luxurious new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Take advantage of these incredible offers. A 2025 XC40 for only $435 per month on a 36-month lease. A 2024 C40 for only $329 per month on a 36-month lease. Or get 3.99% financing on select new Volvo Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. Customers enjoy the stress-free and satisfactory experience Cherry Hill Volvo provides. Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter.
The sensational Sarah McLachlan, live in Atlantic City, celebrating 30 years of fumbling towards ecstasy, performing the album in its entirety, plus her greatest hits, for one incredible night, with special guest, Tiny Habits, live at Borgata Hotel Casino and Spa, Friday, October 25th. Get tickets now at theborgata.com.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Welcome in. Conchi Bakery, 51 years. Henry, heartbroken yesterday. That's the side question today. Something that closed up. And the automat has been ridiculed by Dan once again, fans, just to remind you of that. Let's go to Paul in Westchester. Hey, Paul, good afternoon on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, Don, thanks for taking my call. I'm a long-time listener. And I know that you got Paul at 1210, Don. Why don't you let me be the Harold Ford or Juan Williams on the show right here? You guys got Nick, you got you got Ziola, you got Dawn. Let's even it out, because all you doing is preaching to the choir, and they just calling out, encore. Let's get some dissent here, can we?
Well, Paul, go right ahead here. What do you have today?
All right, so now let's start with your caller. I'm not going to minimize her effect or her trauma that she's going through. However, in a Republican town, Republican mayor, they all stated that it was just a handful of incidents.
Whoa, but Paul, now wait a minute. Let me just, because you're not just an average caller. You're a guy who really follows talk radio, and you have a certain shtick about you that's appealing. So you don't want to say handful here, Paul. Come on. You just acknowledge the woman, the pain and what she's suffering. And apparently it was multiple complexes. I don't know if it's 3, 4, or whatever. Paul, shouldn't a person who wants to be president, I know you a little bit, you know me. If I'm president, I cannot abide a country where Venezuelan drug gangs are taking over a square inch of apartment complexes, right?
You absolutely, I'm not now. Don't try to pigeonhole me, because you don't like nobody pigeonholing you.
Well, I just agreed you were like me in this. I just acknowledged it.
Okay, but I know you still got a back door. You got an escape hatch. So it's that damn thing.
Hit the button, Dom. Hit it.
All right, where's my escape hatch? There it is. Oh, my goodness. All right, Paul, who's your, what place do you miss? What is it that you miss?
I missed all the skating rinks on Elmwood, Carmen's, and the Wild skating rink. We have no skating rinks in Philadelphia no more.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. You got the Rizzo thing from Rocky, but I think that's down for repair. All right.
Just pulled the hatch.
Okay, the hatch, yeah. And there's one over near City Hall occasionally, I guess. Yeah, the ice skating rink is very romantic. That worked for Rocky. Remember the guy? That guy was a great character in Rocky. The guy yelling, "Time!" I think that's a top 10 Rocky scene. Rocky walking on the ice as Adrian is skating. Yeah, I did see that Geraldo endorsed Kamala on CNN. Geraldo is just out of the family business now. He's going a little too far. I like him
crazy, man.
As a host. He is the ultimate wild card. He ought to be on that Fox panel. Harold Ford's a nice man, but he's not good. He just gets beaten up. You put Geraldo in there, and you know the famous story. He's on the show tomorrow, Dan. I'll ask him because of Geraldo doing this. Bill, were you and Geraldo ready to fight that time? And he's gonna be like Jack Nicholson, you know. Yeah. And Geraldo said he was balling up both fists. He was going to jump over the table and start swinging. They don't fool around on that. Let's go to Drew in Upper Darby on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Drew, afternoon.
Hey, Dom, thanks a lot for taking my call. You know, Dom, here's where I miss. You know what? We don't know how good we had it in sports in Philadelphia. For example, in 1980, The Sixers lost to the Lakers in the finals. Magic was a rookie because Abdul-Jabbar was injured.
Headache.
Lost,
Yeah, he had a massive headache. Yeah.
Right. This is all 1980. All 4 teams went. The Flyers lost to the Islanders on that phantom non-call of the offside. He was 5 feet offsides. Yeah, it was a joke. And the Eagles lost to the Raiders in the Super Bowl, and we all know how the Phillies did.
Yep.
They won it all. 1980, all 4 teams went. They were the glory days, Dom.
That is a good. Yeah, that is an era of winners. Winner City.
I really thought we were
City.
entering a similar era here with Philadelphia sports.
Yeah, I did too.
Who's to say we're not?
That's right. I'm counting on the Sixers. So there you
go. Flyers.
Yes. Nick Sirianni is who's to say we're
not.
not.
Yeah, he does.
Matvey Michkov, baby.
All right, so it's 855-839-1210. It is the lightning round coming up here. Also, we played. Oh, I forgot to play this. This cut 19. Here's Don Lemon surfacing. Now, he was a nice guy when we were in the old building 3 buildings ago, Dan. I don't know if Rich was there in that building, but Don Lemon was on NBC 10. Very nice guy when he was on NBC 10. Listen to Don Lemon telling us he had to correct several black voters in swing states who said they supported Trump.
Now, you have been traveling.
Yes.
You've been talking to a lot of voters. And I will just say that you texted me right around the Democratic convention, and you said, I am talking to people, and Kamala Harris has a problem with black men.
Yeah, and I told the campaign I did not hear from them. I mean, who am I for them to get back to me? But there's a problem. And look, I went from battleground state to battleground state. When they invited me to the convention, I didn't just want to fly there. I said, I'm gonna go and talk to voters in battleground states, and I did. It was not curated. I went up to people just doing man on the street and said, who are you going to vote for? Black men. And time after time after time, they said, I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Why?
Now, there are reasons why. They said, because most of the time they said, well, for economic reasons, right? Or because he gave me a stimulus check. And I had to correct them over and over and tell them where that stimulus check came from a Democratic Congress and from Nancy Pelosi. And that Donald Trump actually held the check up so that his name could be put on the check. So they think they got the check directly from him. Meanwhile, Joe Biden has given 1 or 2 stimulus checks as well, but they seem not to know and understand that. You can vote for whoever you want to vote for, but if the reasons that you're going to vote for them, I think that they should be accurate and factual, and you should know why you're supporting someone.
It comes down to stimulus checks now. Don't these guys know who sent them the check? My goodness. Now, this is going to rage. Dan and I were trying to get our buddy Eamon Brown on, who is a Democrat. But I really value his opinion on this, Dan, and he might say anything. I mean, he'll go right to the heart of it. Look, he's got to be a Democrat in Philadelphia to hold elective office, essentially. But I think he has some strong thoughts on that based on previous conversations as far as why this is not happening. And from Obama to just about everybody else, they want to blame black males. 855-839-1210, you get in. So hit us on the lightning round. It's been a big day here. The first guest ever on Dan Time with Dom that I remember. Henry, we're going to be instituting your, what's your segment called? Have we come up with a name for it yet?
I don't, and we're still workshopping it.
Oh, okay. I love that. We're workshopping. But what was it? Was a slice of, I'm trying to.
It wasn't a slice of anything. It was.
Do you hear yourself?
With Henry Machette.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, come on. I forgot almost. Yeah.
Do you hear yourself?
Oh, man. You notice Vance's voice going up, though. He delivered one. Newt Gingrich is probably practicing that line right now, but he could have really taken it out at the end. Martha, you can say whatever you want, but you got a $2 million house. All right, 855-839-1210.
Do you hear yourself? Only a handful of apartment complexes in America were taken over by Venezuelan gangs, and Donald Trump is the problem. And
it's like a Rorschach test. If you can't feel as president, you can't go to sleep that night. You haven't slept, honey. Got to go to sleep. No. We're getting there. Air Force One. We're going in with ICE. We're going in with the military as backup. We're not having one Venezuelan drug gang out there taking over a housing complex. Not going to happen in America. Too many times I think people think of just big picture. That rallies people. It was Frank Rizzo's genius. The small things. It's not happening here on my watch. That's what I want to hear a president say. Trump has to put a button on it because
You're going to
Harris
have a hell
won't
of a
say that.
story on that one.
Exactly. That's a Rizzo. You think you're telling Frank Rizzo, hey, it's only one housing complex, Frank, in Northeast Philadelphia. You don't get agitated.
Take that thing out. Unhook it.
Yeah. This guy was just a reporter, and we see what he was.
You turn that off.
Do we have the creep, crumb, lush?
You're a crumb creep.
Yeah.
You're a real crumb bum.
The lush, Dan, because he said, I've seen you all my life. I know what a lush is.
You are a lush. I can tell by looking at you. You're a crumb creep, lush coward.
Oh, my God.
I know a lush when I see one, and you're a lush.
There's the line. Hey, change of season, starting to get a bit nippier, right? September bleeding into October. It's a time for a fresh start. And that means the appointments you've been putting aside, not thinking about it, great dental care. And that's what we offer here with Dr. Bentz. If you're unhappy or you've just been drifting with your dental care, and you hear me tell for 10 years, the just outstanding dental care, Dr. Bentz, his staff.
Get it all. Don't miss any of it.
The infrastructure that they have. Well, it's time now to get that initial look-see. You'll meet the doc. He'll meet you. Develop a plan with you. Get that initial evaluation. Or if there's a problem, well, this is the place to call right now. Dr. Bentz reminds you that dentistry is not just about your teeth. It's your overall health affected by this. It's not just cosmetic. And again, if you have fear, any kind of sense of that around the dentist.
Let me tell you something.
This is the place to go. I'm sure Frank would go there. Call 610-272-6949. Get the great care that I get each and every time with Dr. Bentz. 610-272-6949.
Dr. Marty McCary. First of all, I got to tell you off the record, my kids have lice. Any advice?
There is a good protocol for lice, but it's a lot more common than people think.
So I'm not going to die or anything, right?
You're going to live.
He's a world-renowned surgeon at Johns Hopkins, and you're wasting his time talking about lice.
That seems like the most apt thing to ask a professor of medicine.
Exactly. I loved his answer. He's like, yeah, it's really common.
Like, shut up. Why are you asking me this? My time is valuable.
Rich Zioli, weekday afternoons, 3 to 7. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
Hey, did you hear? Wawa has classic hoagies for just $6.
Any classic hoagie?
Yeah, any classic hoagie.
What about the cheesesteak?
$6.
Meatball?
$6.
What about the Italian hoagie?
It's $6 for a classic. I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you want for lunch?
Hoagies at Wawa, of course.
Right now, get any Wawa Classic Hoagie for $6. Gotta have a Wawa.
With so much uncertainty in the world today, you may find yourself wondering, is now even the right time to retire?
And so many people are waiting, and those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
Fortunately, Jim Cipriotti has been helping get people to, through, and beyond retirement for over 25 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday afternoons at 5 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
When it comes to your home, trust is everything. For 45 years, Kitchen Magic has built a reputation for transforming kitchens with precision and care. From custom cabinets to countertops, backsplashes to storage solutions. And we get the job done fast. In just a few days, your dream kitchen becomes a reality without the hassle. So trust the name your neighbors have relied on for decades. Kitchen Magic. Get your free in-home consultation at kitchenmagic.com and let's cook up something extraordinary.
Honey, I'm going to Wawa for dinner.
Okay, but Ben wants pizza.
Yep.
And Nick wants a burger and fries.
Right.
Oh, and the twins? They won't touch anything except for mac and cheese.
Exactly. Wawa has something for everyone for dinner, so I only have to make one stop to make everyone happy. So, what do you want?
Well, if you're going to Wawa, I have to have a hoagie.
From burgers to hoagies and everything in between, Wawa has dinner for everyone.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-511-3535. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider, 800-511-3535. That's 800-511-3535. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-511-3535.
Hey girl, it's your new night guy, Jimmy Fallon in the house from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and free on the Odyssey app.
If you didn't buy your clothes from Krauss Brothers, you was hit below the belt.
Krauss Brothers, 901 South Street, Store of the Stars.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
Yes, nothing like that. It's the Store of the Stars. Hey, the lightning round by Dom is sponsored by Cherry Hill Volvo. Right now, get 3.99% financing on select new Volvos for 72 months. See store for details. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. These have been great today. Coming off Henry and the Conchi Bakery. Hit us with something that has departed us, but you wish was still here. Let's go to Alan in Hamilton, New Jersey. Talk Radio 1210. What's yours, Alan?
The original Jersey Devils. I never caught a baseball, but I did get a hockey puck from them. They played in Cherry Hill.
Very nice. I remember them. Alan's got a little bit of Joe of Exton delivery going on there, Dan. A little bit in his own way. You know, it's a much different. But here's the real Joe of. I wonder if we have a Joe of Exton imitator. It's reached that level. You know,
that
we
was
have
the
a
Walmart
Trump
brand Joe of Exton, right?
Yeah, we have a Trump. No, if there's somebody who can do Joe of Exton, we'd love to hear the real versus the fake. DJ does me, even though you don't hear it, Dan. I'm sorry about that.
Man, I'd love to hear that.
Yeah. All right, so audition. Tell us you think you can do Joe of Exton. Now listen to every syllable. Here is Joe of Exton. Hey, Joe.
Yeah. Hello, Dom. No imitators. I'm one of a kind. So, my cultural custom, which is no longer in vogue, is the family physician of the 50s who would make personal calls to the home.
Yes, the doctor house call. That is a great one. You guys never had a doctor visit the house, I'm sure, right?
No, never.
No, it's lucky if you can find a doctor, let alone.
I don't live in a farm town in 1930, so.
Oh man, he's attacking really horn and heart.
So comes in with a leather, medical case and sits it down next to the bed.
Oh, there's nothing like the house call. Gary in Newtown. Gary, what's yours today? Gary?
Gary!
Yeah, he had Lionel.
Hey guys,
oh, hi, Gary.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to see if I can.
Go ahead, Gary. All right.
Hello?
He had Lionel Kitty City. I'm sorry. I don't know if we're having a. I apologize. Joe in Columbus. Joe, what's yours today?
Dom, there is a famous institution right near Fort Dix in New Jersey. I'm trying my Joe, but it's not working well.
Already, the Joe imitators. All right.
I can't disrespect Joe from Exton. He's great. There was an institution for decades and decades right near Fort Dix in a town called Cookstown. It was called the Satellite Lounge. It was owned by a guy named Carlo Rossi, who owned bars in Philly. And acts that played there were incredible. I mean, we're talking about the Little Rascals, Chuck Berry, Benny King.
Wow.
the Platters, Jay and the Americans, Sly and the Family Stones.
Great stuff. Usually people go in with the Latin Casino, Sinatra and others. That was a big Jersey one. That's good. Henry, who did you like today?
Yeah, I like the bookends today. I like our first one off the board, John in the Northeast of the Nabisco Factory.
Yes.
I like the imagery of, I could almost smell the Nabiscos being cooked. And then right there, Joe in Columbus, the Satellite Lounge.
Oh, very nice. I did like the Nabisco. I like Joe's too. Dan, what do you have?
I'm going to throw a Jersey answer out there. Why not? Earl and Taconi's Atco Speedway, very missed in South Jersey.
All right. I think I'll go with the Nabisco. I think the call was good. And I remember that. It's not just the place. The smell was a smell of the area.
John in the Northeast goes into
John in the Northeast goes into the hat. We're always open to suggestions for the side question. I bet there's a great Joe of Exton imitator out there. Let us know. No imitation next, though. Rich C. always coming up for